Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do, or the amount of things that we do, without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Storm, Earth, and Fire. I am William, and I am the Dungeon Master for this game. And I'll just go ahead and introduce our players. I'll introduce your characters in a minute, but we'll start with our players. Starting on my immediate left.
I'm John.
And on my middle left.
Oh, Holly.
Are we unmuted?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You're definitely unmuted. I made certain to unmute. Are all the mics on is a different question.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay.
Yes.
On the far left.
I'm Units.
On the immediate right.
Stan.
On the middle right.
I'm Zach.
And on the far right.
I'm Rudy.
Hi. And this is our Warcraft, our World of Warcraft RPG campaign, Storm, Earth, and Fire, taking place in the year 28, I believe, by the unofficial calendar. But before we begin, this is a different system than we used for our previous campaign. It is based on D&D 3.5, and it has a lot of house rules.
Well, first of all, this system was released in the early 2000s.
Yes, this was released. This system, the second edition of the system, came out around the time that World of Warcraft did not have any expansions. So we're talking 2004.
It also literally had an entire unofficial book released to nothing but add house rules.
Basically.
So it's a very house rulable system.
So I have created a document and a list of house rules that I'm going to go over while everyone is finalizing their characters. I have put the house rules that are related to character creation first, so that in case any of you guys missed anything, you can correct while I'm doing the rest of the house rules. So starting out, character creation. This system that we've made with these house rules is kind of a mix of 3.5 and Pathfinder and some 5th edition rules. So I'm gonna leave this as something that people can go back to for reference if they need it. So, character creation. Ability score limits. No character's score in any one attribute may exceed 20 points naturally, with the exception of racial attribute bonuses, which can increase the cap by whatever your racial bonus is. And also, whenever a character gets an attribute bonus every 4 levels, as is typical in D&D 3.5, you get 2 points to distribute. You can put 1 in 2 different stats or 2 in 1 stat. This is mostly to help ability score increases feel more significant, rather than when you're at an odd level, nothing happens every 4 levels, you know? But also it's there to help keep ability stats from getting too outrageous without magic, so that numbers are staying a little bit more controllable. Class features. The Druid, the Hunter, the Paladin, the Priest, the Shaman, and the Tinker have all gotten class updates with the Even More Magic and Mayhem book, the one that we're talking about, the unofficial one. That makes them slightly different from the core rules and generally a little bit more fun and entertaining to play, so everyone here is trying, I'm assuming, to keep the Even More Magic and Mayhem rules as the ones they're primarily going off of for those classes, which mean we have a Shaman, we have a Priest, and potentially 2 Tinkers. So those are the ones that are relevant for. Skill points. We are using the Pathfinder skill point system, which means that instead of getting 4 times the normal skill points at level 1, you get your base class's number of skill points plus your intelligence modifier, but whenever you put your first skill point to any class skill, you get a +3 bonus, always, and that +3 bonus counts for stuff like ranks for spellcraft and for requirements for prestige classes. Background feats. Everyone in this party, after some conversation with me, is starting with a couple of background feats based on their history with the setting. With the exception of our Tinker, who has one background feat and one invention that he's starting with.
Yay.
Feat progression. Again, this is a Pathfinder thing. Characters will be getting a feat every odd level, as opposed to every 3 levels, as is traditional for 3.5. Trade skills. The Even More Magic and Mayhem book, again, another one of those rules that it came up with was it sort of crunched down all of the craft skills and profession skills, because, let's be honest, a lot of characters had points in those that they could never figure out how to use, like Profession Baker. It's crunched them down into a bunch of trade skills that those of you in the audience who are more familiar with World of Warcraft should recognize. We have alchemy, architecture, blacksmithing, brewing, carpentry, cooking, first aid, fishing, fletching, enchanting, engineering, herbalism, jewel crafting, leatherworking, masonry, mining, poison making, skinning, tailoring, and trap making. People can only take 2 of any of these trade skills at once, which is only 2 with the exception of cooking, fishing, first aid, and brewing, which anybody can take any amount in. And then crafting times, because this is relevant to our Tinker, especially. 8 hours of work on any crafting skill, which is what you'll be doing on a lot of downtime, will result in an amount of progress in gold pieces equal to a trade skill check times the DC of the item being crafted. You follow all the other crafting skills as normal. You still have to put aside 1/3 of the materials or less if you're a tinker at times. And that's all of the character creation stuff. That should be enough for you guys to finish up anything that you had to change on your character sheets before you get started. But the other rules for everyone: mana points. This campaign is using a mana point system, which is basically it puts, instead of the fancy and magic system that D&D 3.5 normally uses, every character gets an amount of mana with every level that they can cast spells at. Primary spellcasters, which are shamans, healers, the healers and the arcanists and the rune master, get 1d4 plus their spellcasting modifier every level. They get their maximum at first level, so 4. And secondary casters like paladins and hunters and the assassin prestige class get 1d2 plus half their ability modifier on the levels that they get to cast spells at. And then spell preparation, this is the one that I've had to change myself. Characters can prepare a number of spells per spell level that is dependent on their spellcasting ability score, which is staying as it is in the book, but it used to be that ranks in spellcraft could increase your number of spells prepared. You could prepare an extra spell per spell level for every 4 ranks in spellcraft, which got to be a lot at higher levels, as we saw in our previous podcasting campaign with our one particular mage who had every spell and with 3 different types of meta magic. So in this particular system, spellcraft is going to work that every 2 ranks in spellcraft will let you prepare an additional spell level, which means that, for instance, a spellcaster with access to 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spells with 8 ranks in spellcraft originally could prepare an extra 2 first level spells, an extra 2 second level spells, and an extra 2 third level spells. But with this change, they can prepare an extra 4 levels of spells, which could be 2 first level spell or 2 second level spells, 4 first level spells, 1 third level, and 1 fourth level, any combination thereof. And we're almost at the end. There's only one more thing left,
I
which
completely
is...
missed that last part.
I'll remind you if I need to. There's only one thing left, which is death and dying. This is...
We just don't.
You just don't.
We just don't.
Yeah. So it's very, very easy to accidentally die in D&D 3.5, which is fine for a lot of campaigns. But for me personally as a dungeon master, I like to make death a threat when I want it to be a threat, rather than having characters just get blindsided by something and accidentally be dead. So I'm borrowing the D&D 5th edition death saving throw rules, which are when you drop to 0 hit points, you go unconscious, and you start making death saving throws. 3 failed death saving throws means you die. 3 successes means you stabilize. A death saving throw is just a d20 flat. If you roll a 10 or higher, you succeed. Anything that modifies all your saving throws, not just one in particular, will increase your death saves, but nothing that just modifies your reflex saves or anything like that. Any damage a character takes while they are down is a failed death saving throw, and any critical hits a character takes while they are down are 2 failed death saving throws. Beyond that, basic general note, we're just trying to keep everything flowing at a decent pace and trying to keep numbers from getting too outrageous. So if I pass over, if I decide I don't want to keep tracking a certain floating modifier, or if I just want to shortcut a little bit of math at times, just flow with it, because I'm not trying to screw the players over, and I trust that none of the players are trying to sneak anything past me or make my head explode. So
look, 738 damage is perfectly reasonable for 1 hit from a 10th level character. That's all I'm saying.
So if I shortcut anything or make any, just decide not to track any floating modifiers for specific things for every once in a while, just roll with it, because I'm just trying to keep everything flowing at a good pace.
He doesn't want Austin to break the game again.
So the TLDR 3.5 has a whole lot of numbers. We're using the ones we like.
Yes. We're using the numbers that make sense to me. So, if everyone's had some time to prepare, we can go ahead and get started. Everybody ready? I'm waiting for confirmation from everyone.
I'm sure.
I'm just having to rework some skills on that.
Okay, cool. So, let's roll right into it then. 28 years after the first war between man and orc, the blazing sun beats down upon the clay desert of Durotar. It is nearing the height of summer, meaning the heat is especially oppressive, and the box canyon of the Valley of Trials is practically sweltering. But such is the test of this land. Here, we join the races of the Horde, a nation of peoples most would consider monsters, but who have carved their lives from the harsh, unforgiving landscape that they call home. It is a constant trial to survive in Durotar, the home especially of the orcs of the Horde. But to survive here in this desert is to prove yourself worthy of whatever challenges await you. And speaking of worth, today we join a group of 5 adolescents, just reaching their Rite of Passage. They're just reaching their adulthood. Today is the day of your Omrigor, your Rite of Passage into adulthood. The group of you stand lined up in the beating sun, dressed in light skins and hides designed for comfort in the dry heat of this land. And before you stands a grizzled old orc, dressed in a leather vest that is perpetually open, leather breeches designed to breathe easily, and foot wraps that leave the toes exposed. His long brown hair is receding in the front, but flows long in the back with a single top knot above the rest of the mane. His beard is lengthy and wild, but speaks of age and experience, with the faintest hint of gray coming in near the roots. This is Kaltunk, and for the past year he has been your overseer at the Valley of Trials, making sure you are fed, clothed, and kept safe in the harsh environments as you learn, struggle, and find some idea of who you're going to be in your coming adulthood. As you're all lined up before him, he gives each of you a thorough glance over before he speaks. All right, you lot. Today is the day you prove yourselves to be true citizens of the Horde. If you've all finished your breakfast, let's get you equipped and ready and send you to meet your proctor. Now, if we could have each of you go ahead and describe yourself, starting with John.
Garrick stands at 8'6" and 652 pounds. He has often been mistaken for a green wall. Is the oldest of the group. Is probably one of the oldest students, one of the oldest orcs in the Valley of the Trials, at least that are not as teachers. This just massive brick shithouse of an orc with black hair that's pulled back into a top knot, very similar to other male orcs, shaved close on the sides, with a nice big black beard on his chin, and very, very clear, bright blue eyes in the midst of his green skin, being one of the orcs born in the internment camps. He has a lot of scarring all over his body. Like, one might expect him to be a multi-war veteran with the amount of scars that he has. And he's just always very alert and attentive, no matter what's going on.
And Holly? your character?
Tiana is also an orc. She is about 6'5", and she is athletically built. She has long black hair, with the left side of the black hair done up in intricate braids all the way down, and the right side is just straight down. She has only one arm. She is missing her left arm, her entire left arm.
Like at the shoulder.
Like, yeah, right at the shoulder. She is wearing a lot of just like tannish browns, and she is not wearing straps. She's wearing strapless because of her arms. And heavy, thick boots that look like they are lined with fur. That's it.
And Austin?
Alright, so my character is a troll, but rather than a lot of the trolls who wear a large amount of ceremonial jewelry and adornment, he is very, what's the word, simply dressed. He very functionally dressed. His hair has been very rough cut short. The few clothes he wears are basically straps of thickened animal hide to cover vital spots. Even for a troll, he is exceptionally tall and grisly looking. As young as he is, his muscles are very thickly corded, and again, even for a troll, he has no fat on his body whatsoever. He has bright green, like greenish blue, like a teal skin, and orange hair.
Alright, and Stan, you're not here at the moment. We'll deal with you. We'll deal with you when you show up. Zachary.
So, Leaf is a half-orc, or I suppose half-human, and
In its particular environment.
he's fairly tall, and also rail thin, a fairly lanky individual. His clothes are clearly quite functional, but also decorated quite well with various sunburst and sun ray type imagery. He has some small amount of tattoos on his body, mainly along his right arm, that also depicts similar motifs. His hair is moderately long, pulled into a ponytail in the back, and then with braids in the front as well, as is the typical orcish fashion. He also has a staff, but other than that, he seems to dress fairly practically.
And Rudy?
And Rick is a dark gray tauren. He stands at a 7'7", and he has his mane braided down to both sides, down short, just short of his chest. He doesn't dress very fancy. He doesn't have any of the jewelry that other tauren tend to wear. He's covered in some he has marks on him, like tattoos and stuff, of various designs. And, yeah.
Alright. So all of you have been gathered up, and as Kaltung says, alright, let's get each of you equipped. Bring up the cart, and he indicates behind him, and a group of older orcs, some who have been acting as guards, kind of bring up a small wagon that is loaded with weapons and armor. And each of you each of you carry with you your backpack. You carry all of the stuff that you normally need with you. Any rations that you keep on you, any tools that you use, and you each have measured out in a variety of amounts of copper and silver. The amount of money that you've been able to earn through various jobs that you've been working here at the Valley of Trials over the course of the past year, an amount of money up to about 10 gold on your person. Galfon, you might not have any on you, all things considered.
No, probably not.
But each of you, Kaltunk looks over each of you, and can I see the core rules real quick? Yep.
Looking for weapons.
Specifically weapons and armor.
If they have plate armor, I'll take it.
And not quite. You have some heavy armor.
I don't feel like plate is really
I can't wear it.
novice
I
thing.
can only wear medium armor.
Yeah.
I feel like hide.
Yeah.
I have 0 dex. I have 0 agility, so agility caps are not a problem for me.
It does lower your speed though.
Yeah. For each of you, they do have Galfon. You are given a collection of spears. As you are typically, you are given the shield that you've grown a little bit familiar with over the course of your training year.
AKA a plank
Yeah.
that happens to have arm straps on it.
And a collection of one spear, like an actual two-handed spear that you can make use of, and I believe 10 javelins that you can.
No, is it a two-handed spear or a short spear?
Oh yeah, sorry, you use a short spear.
Yeah, 'cause I have a shield.
Use a shield. Yeah, you have one short spear and a collection of 10 javelins.
Okay.
And you don't wear any armor, do you?
Padded.
Padded?
Or leather.
Yeah, you wear light armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, in which
Barbarian.
case you are given you're given some padded armor.
Okay.
Shiona, you have your weapon on you because it's the one that you were custom given by Kaltunk to suit your needs. You have a set of orcish claws of attack that you've been training with over the course of the years, which is a bracer with 3 metallic claws that emerges from the top of the bracer that you keep strapped onto yourself most times. But you are given a brace of 6 throwing knives, and your standard padded armor as well, because you also wear light armor. Garrick, you've been training with the blade mostly, the large blade as well. So you are given the relatively appropriate large weapon that they have for you, which will be the greatsword. You are given a greatsword.
Less a great sword, more a massive machete
Basically, it's a giant slab of metal.
that has an edge.
You should give him a Naganati so he can fight from like 60 feet away.
And a suit of hide mail, as you're one who wears medium armor.
+3. So.
Suit of hide armor.
Yep.
You have your robes and your staff, so you don't need much in the way of weapons, but you are given a basic club to defend yourself if anything gets too close. And you don't need any weapons or armor, so that was mostly moot for you.
You have these fists, you see, and they're the size of a normal man.
I also have, strapped to my left forearm, I have a carved wooden totem as well.
Yes. That one you have made yourself, though.
Yeah,
So.
no. It's sort of it's sort of an amalgamation of all the Horde races,
Yeah.
like in one totem that's just strapped onto my arm.
And after you've all been properly kitted out, Kaltunk. All right. So, on the western edge of the valley, as you're familiar with, are the tents where most of the visiting shamans tend to stay. You'll find your proctor in the largest one, currently issuing smoke. He will be the one giving you your trial. If he's been having visitors today, so if he's busy, don't interrupt until someone leaves. But Go there now and wait to get your exam. Enter once you're certain it is clear.
Do we know each other's names already?
Yeah, you've been here for a year. You have interacted with each other. At the very least, you know each other's names. You might not have interacted much. You probably had to go out and fetch cactus apples one day together, and for food for the evening. So you at the very least know each other's names, and you've interacted a little bit.
Very well. Let's go to the proctor's tent. And I will turn and start walking.
I will, not standing up, because why use 2 legs when I have 4? Follow behind.
Alright, so the group of you, I'm assuming, follow? Alright, so you make your way over towards the shaman's tents. As you're heading that way, you do notice a large tauren heading into the tent that you've been pointed out. And you get just close enough to hear his greeting. He just says loud enough for the group of you to hear as he approaches, Thromka, spirit speaker. And from there on, it's just hushed conversation that you can't quite make out from outside the tent. As you wait there for a couple of minutes.
I mean, I've got a really good listen score.
You can certainly try.
21.
You pick up faint bits of conversation. It seems like there's been some interesting conversation among the shamans lately that is speaking of disturbances and unsettlement among the spirits lately, and potential indications of what might be coming soon, and conversations about how that might affect the Omrigor. And the other person seems to be confident that everything should go at least mostly according to plan. So,
Is this anything that I've heard before with my training in the shamans? Under the shamans?
it's recent conversation. You might have heard something like this in the past few months, but it's definitely very recently you've noticed that the shamans seem to be feeling like there's something big on the horizon.
And just again, out of curiosity, is this anything that the spirits have talked to me about, or that I've heard them voicing irritation about?
You've had only brief conversations up until now with spirits, so you haven't really had a lot of time to speak with any of them for long enough to understand any irritation. So it's not something that you've experienced yourself.
Okay.
But after a few minutes of conversation, the Tauren steps back out of the tent and notices the group of you and just you must be here for your trial. Please enter. And he just kind of leaves the tent flap open and heads off into his own direction.
I'll duck into the tent.
Doors open. Walk through.
Yep. All right. So, as you enter the tent, the smell of burning incense and herbs lingers in the air with a faint grayish smoke. Before you, opposite a small fire issuing the smoke into the air, is a troll, dressed in very ornate robes. His blue, mossy skin is pierced in several places with ornamental spikes of bone, and his face is painted with the visage of a skull, adorning the upper half of his face. His long, leaf green hair is tied into a wild mess of braids that cascade down his back, with a pair of them resting in front of his shoulders around chest level. But despite the deathly appearance of his face paint, he greets you all with a warm smile, his long, threatening tusks pulling his lips back and showcasing the equally sharp front teeth that he has as he greets you all with a grin. You must be my students. My name is Spirit Speaker Razjun, and I be your proctor for the Omrigor. Tramkab, my brothers.
Akamagosh, Spirit Speaker.
It'd be good to see each of you, and it'd be my honor, he says, looking at the two of you, at the three of you, actually, the three orcs of the group.
Two and a half orcs.
To be the first troll to issue to Amrigor. So, I understand you might be wanting to find out what you got ahead of you. You might be in a rush to see what the spirits have in store. Well, worry not. It's a bit of a tradition that the Amrigor each year will reflect the trials that we expect the up-and-coming generation to face. And there be an amount of turmoil in the world today. The spirits be restless. They speak of confusion and danger. And to that end, the Amrigor reflects this. There be a hidden path in the Valley of Trials that leads to a secret place where the shamans usually go to commune, to speak with the spirits, and ask of them what they can learn. Your trial be twofold. First, you find the hidden path. You find it, and you follow it to its end. To the giant standing stone the shamans gather around. Find it, meditate on it. Speak, commune with the spirits, and they offer the next part of your trial. I give you fair warning. As I say, the spirits be in turmoil. The trial they offer might not be simple, might not be peaceful, but they are here to test you. The advice they give, the challenge they set, will prove who you be in the Horde.
I just offer whatever official Horde response it is to say, okay.
I mean,
I don't remember what it is.
Dabu, usually.
Dabu.
Now go. And may the spirits watch over you.
I assume by the fact that I've been given this task that I do not know where this path
You
is.
do not know where it is.
I'm assuming that was so much jibber jabber.
I mean, you understand Orcish and Troll.
Yes, but like there were a lot of words there. That,
How much you put into it, yeah, is up to you.
He's gonna follow it.
Was there any indication of where the heck he was talking about?
Give me. Let me see what knowledge is.
It's knowledge, I don't.
Yeah, well,
No.
I can survival.
yeah, you can roll me a survival check.
Could I also roll survival check?
Yeah, anyone who wants to see if they can recollect where this path might be can go ahead and roll me survival.
I rolled a 22, but I didn't hear
Knowledge
it.
religion might help, yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
You know everything. Unfortunately, you're not here to impart your wisdom on us.
25.
Well, on a Nash 20.
All right. What you got with it? What does that make your knowledge religion?
Religion?
26.
26. All right. Shiona,
Wait, what did we just roll?
survival.
Oh, I did roll the right thing. 15.
15. Galfon.
Managed to 15 somehow.
All right. Brick.
22.
22. All right. So, most of you, over the course of the year, you've seen several shamans come through the Valley of Trials. Many of them have been here to offer lessons, to give history or advice on the spirits. But several of them came simply to commune and seem to have wandered off in a direction south of the Valley of Trials, southwest. Like the gate out of the Valley of Trials is southward facing, and they seem to go somewhere immediately upon entering to the left from where they entered. So it'd be somewhere on the west end of the southern side of the Valley of Trials.
So south within the valley or south outside?
Definitely
the valley?
within the valley.
Okay. I believe I know where many of our shamans congregate, at least some of them that enter that do not come to teach. We could look there.
And I basically look at
all of you rolled high enough to know that.
Yeah.
You and I only rolled 1 point difference. So.
Yeah. I'm familiar.
Without saying anything, she's already gone.
You look around and Shiona's already out the tent.
Well, I suppose we should catch up to Shiona.
I go in that number.
Yep, head that way.
Yep, everyone else is going, may as well follow.
All right, so you all make your way towards the southern end, and the Valley of Trials, like I said, it's hot because it's the height of summer, and the Valley of Trials is basically a box canyon, so there's no wind to keep the heat down. So you're feeling the full force of the sun on you as you wander out, looking for any particular path that you might be able to find. And it's obviously not a beaten path, because if it was, it wouldn't be a hidden path. So I would like everyone to roll me either perception or survival.
Survival.
Perception spot, right?
Yes, spot.
18.
22.
11.
Okay.
17.
17.
I have a plus 9 to survival.
Pardon?
I have a plus 9 to survival.
10.
Fishing gives you additional plus 2 to your survival check.
You have to have a certain number of ranks in it, don't you?
So you have ranks there.
So long as it is one of your learned skills.
Yep.
Although I believe it's specifically for survival in regards to finding fish.
Yeah.
That's right. That would make it a 17.
Yeah.
10. For finding food.
Yeah. Okay. So that. All right. So Garrick and Galfon, the two of you, as you make your way around, you spot ever so faintly, and it's difficult to see because the sand. The only reason that you're able to spot it is because of the fact that there's no wind, and you suspect that if this valley ever got a strong gust of wind, which it does occasionally, these footprints might blow away. But you do spot some footprints that go away from the general body of the valley that seem to head up into the hills.
I imagine if this place does get wind, it gets a lot of wind, because if the wind's heading just the right direction.
Yeah, if it's heading in just the right way, you get all of it. But any other direction is just completely cut off.
I mean, I see path, follow path.
All right.
Sounds like sound logic.
Yep.
Not that you said that.
Yeah.
He just starts off.
No, I just literally just like start walking.
I believe I can see the path where Galfon is heading.
All right. And after a while of going, it quickly becomes apparent part of why this path is so hidden is because it's moving up and down through the rocky surface of the valley walls that make it a box canyon. It's a lot of the path is where you can find foothold to continue walking that isn't sheer valley walls. So there's a lot of just guesswork on where you might be able to move. It seems like this path is particularly designed in that it is hard to follow and easy to miss unless you are either following someone or being guided. And it's also, there's a lot of climbing up and over things. I would like everyone just to give me a general climb check, just to see how well you're handling.
Would jump be applicable? Or is it not like just vaulting over?
Yeah, it's not. It's like vaulting over stuff. It's actively like
Climbing walls. Okay.
yeah. How well are you getting up and over walls and cliff faces?
20.
No.
20.
20?
Yeah, 1.
11.
11.
No, not a natural one, right?
No.
Did you apply your armor check penalty for high?
15.
15.
I got the same problem with that kind of stuff.
And that's 17.
My spirit checks or everything at once.
There was no armor check penalty location on the character sheet, so I didn't add a thing in.
Yeah, it's a -3.
Yeah, so -3 plus 2, so -1 total. So 17.
So, most of you are able to climb one of these particularly sheer cliff faces. Most of you are able to climb up, including Shiona. But as each of you make your way up, you are finding that the half orc of the group is just having a bit of trouble trying to get up the wall. It seems.
I will. How much do you weigh?
Lighter than most orcs.
Like 150 pounds or so, or
Probably like
how tall are you?
upper end of 100, but
All right. You know, I'm not carrying a lot. I'll throw him over my back and start going up things.
Roll me a strength check.
Get that strength.
Ooh.
Unless you roll poorly.
I mean, no. It's a 3 on the die.
You reach down to try and lift him, but I mean, he might be lighter than most orcs, but he's still got orc heritage. He's heavy enough, and you're trying to pull him up a cliff, so you're having some trouble as well, trying to get him up.
I'll smack him on the head and yank on him again to indicate that he's supposed to be helping me.
Go ahead and roll another climb check. With advantage, because you're getting assistance from him.
with advantage.
Yeah.
Good, then that 3 doesn't count. Instead, that 18 counts as 17. Okay.
All right. So.
I just looked out back on. Really?
Yeah, with the help of Galfon, you managed to haul yourself over this wall and managed to make your way up the cliff face. After probably a good another 10-15 minutes of moving through this rough terrain, you manage to find your way to. It's almost a bowl in the middle of the valley walls, where all of the massive rock pillars and walls that make up the box canyon kind of gradually dip down and inward into this small, almost bowl-like chamber, in the center of which is this massive stone pillar that seems to have been hewn out, not by hand or by tools, but just almost as if it just punched its way up from the earth, and is adorned, that has been carved, the symbol of some orcish rune that is the indicator for communion. Is the orcish rune for communion.
Do I feel anything coming into this area?
Roll me a spirit check. Just flat spirit.
Flat spirit check?
Yeah.
Me too.
20.
Yes.
I'd like to roll an apathy check.
Only 8.
So you're not as accustomed to this. You're more accustomed to the holy light with your background. But you, as a shaman, even as a neophyte shaman, you can feel this is a place where the spirits are paying attention. This is a place where it might be something about the land. It might be something about the pillar. But this is a place where the spirits can converge. It's a place where they can easily find their way to communicate with the people who are meditating here.
The spirits are active here. I believe this is the place, and I will move forward to sit down and begin communing.
Mm-hmm. The rest of you?
I'm going to try to sort of refocus my efforts to sort of pay attention to what's going on with the area upon noting his observation.
Roll me sense motive.
Ooh. Fancy.
Sense the motive of the spirits.
24.
At his mention, you just kind of close your eyes and focus for a minute, and you can almost feel it, because you realize you're in the middle of a bowl. There's no way there should be any wind here. but you can feel it, just that whisper of wind past your ears, and the faint rumble of the earth beneath you. You can feel the presence of the spirits here.
Come, friends. Gather round.
I'm like crawling around the thing looking for things.
Arched eyebrow at that.
Because I'm supposed to be here to look for something. I don't see anything. So like, they're marking that it's here. So I'm just like looking around, poking in the dirt, seeing if I can find anything.
You don't seem to. All that seems to be here is this bowl and this pillar. For all the searching that you're doing, you just keep seeing this pillar in the middle of this.
How tall is this pillar?
It's like 15 feet.
I bet I have to get on the pillar and look around from there.
Go ahead and make me a climb check.
17.
So the troll starts to like hand over hand climb the side of the pillar and like sits on top of it and looks around.
Perches, not sits.
Assuming that if the spirits don't want him up there, they'll kick his ass off. I'm going to start communing with spirits.
All right. So you sit down and close your eyes and just begin to focus and clear your thoughts. You're looking around. You're still just seeing these canyon walls. What are the rest of you doing?
I guess follow suit.
Kiana's gonna just sigh, roll her eyes, and flop down.
And I'll pull the totem off my arm and just set it down.
Brick?
I'll go break away.
So Galfon, you noticed all of the people that are here with you are just sitting down around the pillar and closing their eyes.
This is not nap time. Can't see anyone hop off the pillar and just sort of like, you know, like dogs sniff around for things. Oh, no, yeah, doing that.
Okay. You don't. It smells weird here, but it's not like something specific. It's just this place seems odd, and you can't figure out what it is.
Gonna keep looking until I find.
All right.
I mean, if I don't find, I'm just gonna keep looking until someone tells me something else.
So all of you are closing your eyes and just kind of trying to clear your thoughts and trying to focus, but for some reason, every time you start to empty your thoughts, you just hear the sound of scratching and sniffing and patting around as Galfon is trying to find
Alright.
something.
Kiana's gonna get up, grab him by the collar, and just slam him down.
Make me a
Grapple
grapple
check.
check.
Opposed grapple rolls?
Yeah.
Whatever,
grapple
I
rolls,
grab him.
He just stands up and it's like.
Your grapple is literally just your strength modifier right
Oh,
now.
okay.
+1, because you do have a base attack bonus.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, right.
Rogue get medium bad.
Right.
21.
Nice. Yep.
So, you know, you're trying to look around, and this orc woman with only one arm just kind of reaches around and grabs you by the neck of your armor and just pulls and looks you square in the eyes, and then just makes a sitting and just like
She
pulls you.
just points
She
down.
like pulls you up, pulls you close, points down, and then just like shoves on your collar.
Galfon.
She points at the other sitting, and then points at you down.
You must.
Yanks you down.
Squats down angrily, impatiently.
All right. I would like everyone after everyone is like actually sit down and is trying to think on something. I would like everyone to make me a will save.
You say people sitting down and thinking.
Yes, even you, Galfon.
20.
Yes. 23.
6.
Okay.
You're too irritable. That's
No, she is. No, it's.
Hey, come on, fucking spirits, talk to me.
Just tell me.
17.
Nice. You're not there.
The goblin isn't there, William. You already made this clear.
So we'll go one at a time. Garrick, as you close your eyes and focus, and you try to commune, this is something you've done before, but here it almost feels natural. And as you just close your eyes and focus, you hear in your mind the whisper of the wind begin to speak to to you, and you just hear this faint voice like a breeze. And so the sun comes. The warrior who has been deprived of childhood. You who would lead, who would rise. You come to seek guidance. Here there is turmoil. Here there is danger. Those who you stand with will need decisiveness, will need leadership. You must be swift as the wind. You must choose the direction that blows you towards it. And you must go. You must make your decision. You must act without hesitation. But you have seen so much. There is so much pain in you. Can you put it aside? Can you act without hesitation, without fear, without worry for what might go wrong? Can you be decisive as the summer storm?
For the Horde.
Then you shall prove it. And before we go continue from there, we'll move to Leaf. As you close your eyes and you try and focus, it's something you're not used to, and after a while you manage to clear your thoughts, and you hear almost this dripping noise, like raindrops on a pond, just this drip, drip, drip. And through that dripping noise, you hear a voice that almost sounds like it's being spoken to you from underwater, as just this faint, flowing noise communicates to you. Now comes the child of Pooh worlds. You who are here because you have been rejected from your other home. Do you seek us to become one with this place? Or do you seek us for yourself? Are you here to become accepted? Or are you here to become who you are?
I owe these people a tremendous debt.
They will need you. You bear the spirit to mend, the will to heal. Like water to salve a wound, you must be there when your companions are broken. You must be the flow that will wash away their pain, or they will break beneath the tide. But now you must prove it. Galfon, as you do your best to try and figure out whatever it is these people are trying to focus on, and you try and figure out what exactly it is that everyone is trying to close their eyes and listen for, you hear something.
Alright, I'm looking for it.
This low rumble beneath the earth, and wherever you open your eyes and look, you don't see anything. You look around, you don't hear words per se, because words are meaningless to you for the most part. You understand them, but they don't carry weight.
Yeah.
You don't hear words, you feel a connection. You feel the essence of the earth beneath you. You feel your sensations spread across miles. You're not looking through your eyes anymore, you're looking through the earth. You see the ground around you and understand the vastness of it. You understand the force of the ground and what it means mountains, how it can roll, how it can crush, how its sheer weight is such that you feel like nothing could stand before a rock slide. And you feel this connection, this earth that connects not just you, but everyone that stands upon it. You understand that every living being lives upon this massive earth, this connection. And you see how small you are in comparison to the vastness of this earth. And you see, as small as you are, with everyone else near you, you're just that much larger. With all of these people around, you are just that bit more.
Which makes sense. Individually, I'm meaningless. I am part of a pack.
Yes. And you get this sensation that such is the nature of Earth. A single pebble is but a speck, but together it becomes the rock slide. And you get this sense of query of, will you be this pebble that strays, or will you join your brethren and become the landslide?
He feels no need to answer this query.
And you get...
He's not self-reflective. There's really the understanding that, you know, individual life is meaningless. I am here because, you know, there is the sense of pack oneness. I am here to exist in my pack, to survive, and to continue.
So you get this sensation of curiosity as to how you will show this. And then we move to Brick. Brick, as you clear your thoughts and focus, it's not one of the elements that reaches out to you. You hear a voice that sounds old and aged. It is the voice of an ancient torrent that reaches out to you. Ah, young descendant, here you come to find who you are, like so many before you. You pursue an ancient art, and you seek knowledge, and you seek truth. To what end will you walk this earth in the pursuit of truth? And who will you walk this earth with?
I shall. Say it was last word.
To what end shall you walk this earth in the pursuit of truth? And who shall you walk it with?
with those that seek the truth as well, whether they stand with me now or in the past.
Then you walk with those who are of your kind, and you walk with those who will call themselves your allies, but know that you must never walk alone, or you will fall alone. Now, you must rise and defend your allies. Shauna, you close your eyes and you just sit and you focus and you try and reach out, and nothing happens, and you're waiting for minutes on end, and you just start to get more and more frustrated as nothing seems to be happening, and you just start to wonder why these stupid spirits aren't saying anything, and you just focus and try, and right as you're about to give up, you feel you just are about to just stand up and get up, and then wham! Like a spike of flame in your mind, you hear this voice rush in, and it burns to hear, and it's painful to hear as it crackles like an open flame in your mind. Weak. You are weak. Frail. Pitiful. You rail against your own weakness. But it is not your arm that makes you weak. It is your nature. You reject strength. You stand alone, a cinder to be doused before the flame.
Maybe I like standing alone.
Then burn alone. And each of you find your eyes opening.
Sass the fire elemental.
Always sass the fire elemental.
Not at level 1.
Especially at level 1.
Each of you find your eyes opening.
Shelley's just on fire right
Suddenly,
now.
spontaneous combustion.
Each of you find your eyes opening at around the same time. And as you look around, something's changed. The wind isn't whistling, it's howling now. And you can hear it as it roars angrily. And you, in the distance, just that faint noise. The sound of lightning strikes. You hear flames roaring. The sound of earth shaking, footfalls. Lightning, flames, the rush of water. And as from around each of the corners, you see these 4 wolves, maybe? Perhaps, but not quite. One almost seems to be made of flowing water. One seems comprised of elemental air. Another burns like fire, and another rumbles like the earth. These elemental wolves seem to gather round your party from all directions. And as you stand and grip your weapons, they're upon you. And it's time to roll some initiative.
So the question, are they hostile, is a little moot by now.
Yeah?
We've determined they are. I have a +0 modifier to my initiative. I rolled 17.
Hey, peasant.
Am I still going first?
That's the lowest I...
There should be a pencil on the dice tray. You've got stuff on top of your pencil.
Oh, okay.
And your marker.
Yeah.
The dice gave me tonight too, as well as the spirits.
Turns out the spirits are the
The
dice.
spirits are the dice. They like me.
Wanna trade?
Alright. So,
I'm good, I like
20 and above. 20?
And the Tauron goes first.
Yep.
Okay.
We're level 1. 20 and above is a big question.
20 to 15.
18.
17.
17. Got fun.
9, but I'm not going.
Somewhere on an island, a goblin just rolled 9 on his initiative to stab the fuck out of the guy who owes him money. So you think you're wise, guy, eh? 9. Fuck.
15 to 10.
11.
11.
Oh, 13.
13. Alright, that's everybody.
We're last.
Last.
I know.
When's the last time you
I
won
know.
last initiative?
When I played Gran Terra, because online dice hate me.
That's a long time ago.
To be fair,
Or
usually
change
Zachary's the one rolling even worse, no matter how bad.
I know. That's
Holly
why.
rolls.
That's why I was.
Yeah, usually Zachary's got the 1 to 3 range.
Don't worry, this trend will continue.
Yeah, but
I
I
still have
don't
a minus on
usually
my initiative.
roll like that for initiative.
Wait for you to roll a 0 on your initiative.
That can happen.
It's just an odd day.
So we start off with Brick. What you got, Brick? As you are surrounded by these 4 elemental wolves.
How many?
4.
4.
One for each of the 4 elements: air, earth, fire, water.
Okay.
I need the book.
Are you gonna cast spells?
Well, no. I want to know how commanding elementals works. Because I can command. Somehow I can command air elementals. I just don't know how.
You can rebuke air elementals.
I can rebuke and command.
You can rebuke and
And yeah.
Well, you have to roll some really high.
Yeah, I know.
numbers.
That's why I want to know how it works. Yeah, I can rebuke, command, or bolster air elementals, and I can turn or destroy earth elementals.
I'm gonna go.
I don't know how.
I'm gonna go with punch one.
all right, just a regular unarmed attack.
Yeah.
What is your simple rune?
Oh, it's the Rune of Starlight.
Rune of Starlight. So you add your spirit score to your AC.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll.
Hmm. 8.
You rush up and you bring your fist down towards the we'll say the air wolf, and like the wind, it just flows to the side as you're swinging your fist straight for its face, but it just shifts away as you swing. Galfon, what are you up to?
The earth is the most substantial, so that'd be the one I'm going to hurl a javelin at.
All right, roll me an attack.
20.
That hits. Roll damage.
Good. If that didn't hit, I would recommend running. 5 damage.
5 damage. All right.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I found the turn and rebuke stuff, but it doesn't say what actually happens. It just says I can a number of times equal to 3 plus my charisma modifier, so I can do it twice a day.
Is it 5 points of damage?
Yes.
All right, Garrick, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to command the air elemental if I can. I just don't know how.
All right. So you roll a charisma check.
Okay, that's gonna be good.
And what
What does it roll?
does the elemental do?
The elemental. It depends on what happens. And it affects hit dice based on your level.
So 16.
So 16. You can affect any. You can affect any elemental of your level plus 2.
So if it's a CR 3 or lower.
No, if it's HD.
Oh,
If
HD
it's
3 or
3
lower.
hit dice or lower. Which it is. Yes, it is. So what does that actually do?
I can just affect it.
It is rebuked.
Well, I can command instead of rebuke. Which
No, turning it
no,
rebuking.
shaman specifically can command as well as rebuke.
Yeah, you can try, but you have to do a specific thing.
Yeah. That's why I needed to know what that means.
Yeah.
Because like it's the same action. I can rebuke, command, or bolster.
You have to exceed it by a certain amount to command it.
Okay. What's the amount I'd have to exceed it by?
If you have twice the levels as they have hit dice, not based on your roll, but you can't have double anything.
So does it have one hit die, basically?
No, it would have to have half a hit die.
Oh, in levels?
Yes.
Okay, so I can rebuke it. So what does rebuking do?
Rebuking means it cowers as if in awe
Alright, I grab the totem and
for
I
10 rounds.
so I grab the totem, slam it into the ground and just shove it forward and rebuke the air elemental.
All right, so the air wolf just kind of scatters for a minute and just becomes this torrent of air that seems to be unable to really form an offensive. Which brings it to the wolf's turn. The air wolf.
It can still take actions, but it receives a -2, and all of us get a +2 to hit it.
Yeah.
The advantage of rebuking instead of turning is that while they don't run away from you, you can beat it. If you beat an enemy that you're turning,
It
it
comes off.
they
It
stop
stops running away.
Yeah.
So it's going to. I mean, it's still going to try and bite Brick. What's your armor class, Brick? Probably didn't hit you.
12.
Oh, is it 12?
Yeah.
Is that adding your spirit? What's your agility?
Just one right now.
And your spirit's only +2? Or is your spirit's only +1 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
I'm probably gonna need to
Magic
because
items are the
I didn't
things we
see
need.
that sheet that you were showing everyone, so I
oh,
might need to redo the
you need,
points
you have to do.
because I never saw that.
Yeah, so we'll redo your stats after the session. Okay. So you will take
Less than, more than 0 damage.
6 points of slashing damage as the razor winds slice across your torso as it seems to bite at you, and it just becomes this gush of slashing wind. The flame wolf is going.
To clarify, after I threw the spear, I ran up in its face, drawing a short spear.
Okay, so you're up in the earth. You're up in the earth
Yes.
wolf's face. The flame wolf rushes straight for Shiona. What's your armor class?
14.
I rolled a 19 on the die.
Come at me, bro.
It is doing so.
You take 5 points of fire damage
Ow.
as the flames lick across you as it rushes towards you.
What action is a shout?
A shout is typically accompanies another action.
It's a swift action. You can do one around for free.
Oh, then I would have shouted as well, if I could do it for free. I'm unfamiliar with these new mechanics.
The earth one is just going to go straight for the one that's in front of it, which is a troll. What's your armor class?
15.
15? That's a 19. So that's going to be 4 points of bludgeoning damage as it seems to rush against you.
4 points. That's real painful. Ow. Oh, the suffering.
Yeah. And then the water one flows around the group towards the priest. And rolls a natural 1 to hit you. So as you turn, you just kind of bring your staff in the way, and it just kind of splashes against your staff and like spreads around you and swirls around to the other side and reforms. And you seem to have put off whatever its attack was for that point. That however brings it to you, Leaf.
So he got hit. You got hit.
And so did Galvon. All three of them have been hit.
Galfond, however, regenerates.
So
Galfond does not look particularly bothered by this hit.
So protection from evil prevents things from being attacked by summoned creatures. Would that
By evil summoned creatures, so specifically by outsiders.
summoned creatures that aren't good? They can be neutral as well. Would that protect from this?
Probably your assumption is probably not,
These
Okay.
are elementals.
because
Yeah, they have to be summoned.
they weren't summoned by someone. They seem to have just manifested.
Okay. In that case, good old tried and true cure light wounds. On. Okay, how much were Rick was hit for 6 and you were hit for 5?
Which one of them has more hit points?
What do you have?
9.
8. We're
So
both at
they're
the
both
same.
the
You're at
So
the
this
same
is-
amount of hit points right now. Yes.
Honestly, you probably want to heal him. Shiona doesn't.
Yeah. The protection from summoning creatures doesn't work if the creature you're protecting is actively attacking.
Oh,
Wait, what? No.
The protection against contact by summoning creatures ends if the warded creature is attacking or tries to force the barrier against the blocked creature.
Never mind. Okay, cool.
That is
cast
the
on,
power.
you can cast it on you.
Yeah, as long as you're not being hostile to it, but that also is subject to whether or not they're summoned or created.
Okay. Whatever. Healing is kind of.
Healing's good.
Healing's in my wheelhouse, so have some healing, Brick.
1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier.
It's actually 1d8 plus caster level.
Plus cast level.
Yeah. Which thankfully is one higher for healing spells, but rolling a 1 means that that's only 3 hit points.
Better than nothing.
I mean, at first level, 3 hit points is.
A third of his total hit points.
Well, yeah, but when attacks deal half of his total hit points.
It gives him another hit.
It does.
Yeah. Because
Um,
2/3 is better than 1/2.
Shiana, what are you doing?
Stab the stupid thing that's on me.
You're gonna use your claws?
Yep.
Because I
What I stab with.
didn't know if it was a swift action or not. Can you say I did my battle show?
And you can do it on your turn again for free, basically.
16 to hit.
16, that will hit. Roll damage. You're attacking the firewolf.
Mm-hmm. 8.
8.
Wait, 7. Sorry.
7?
I can't math.
Alright. That brings us back to the top to Brick. What you got?
Gonna punch the air one.
Yep,
Or
punch,
fighting
punch.
Got a whole lot of punch.
Go ahead and roll me an attack.
Actual 20.
Roll me another time, and if you hit again, you confirm the critical hit. Because technically you can't crit elementals, but these guys, it's your test. You can crit the test.
Also, you can just determine you can crit out.
They're really just wolves.
14.
14, that will confirm. So roll your d6.
They have wolf-like enough form that they have anatomy.
Yep, basically.
So how much is it?
It's a 5th edition crits versus 3.5 crits.
It's basically you roll your damage, and then you double it.
Okay.
And you don't double any additional dice you roll, but you don't have any of those yet, so it's just double damage.
6.
6. Is that after the doubling? Or?
After the doubling.
Okay, so you
Punching the airwolf.
6. And then that brings us to Galfon. You're back up again.
So, could I move away from mine and flank with him?
Yes, you will stop my attack opportunity though.
I'm gonna tumble to avoid that. I will do so successfully.
Alright.
So I will tumble away from this thing because I see an opportunity to double team somebody, and I'm always about that double teaming life.
Alright.
Alright, I'm really glad that I have pack tactics, because that makes that 14.
That hits. Roll damage.
Sweet.
That hits exactly.
Ah, good. Would have been 11 if I had attacked the earth one. 6 damage.
6. You're attacking the airwolf.
Yes. Shank it.
All right. You drive this spear into this this mass of air, and it seems to swirl erratically as if it's having trouble maintaining its form. Garrick, what are you up to?
I, holding the totem, I start strapping the totem back to my arm, and as I do, I start reciting. The fury and honor of our ancestors guide and protect our blades. I'm going to use Recitation of Blood to give everyone around me a +1 morale bonus to attack rolls, will saves, and a flat +1 bonus to armor class for the next minute. And drawing my blade, I'm going to rush the one that's next to, not actually attacking, but rush the one that's next to Shiana, shouting, Loktaruga! To give everyone a +2 morale to damage rolls. +2 morale bonus to damage rolls. So everyone has a +1 morale bonus to hit, +1 morale bonus, or +1 miscellaneous modifier to your will saves, +1 to your AC, and +2 to damage.
Alright.
All right.
Hit that again. I got +1 to AC and +2.
+1 to hit,
Okay.
+1 to AC,
I got that.
+1 to will,
Okay.
and +2 to damage.
Okay.
This is what I mean by a lot of floating modifiers. This is level 1.
And that's what this particular type of shaman does. Yep. Ancestor shamans are like, hey, we're all one big family, and because we're one big family, you guys get a bunch of modifiers.
All right. You can go into attack.
I use
Oh,
a
use your action for
use a
Recitation
standard
of Blood.
action to Recitation of Blood.
Okay,
so,
so-
but I do move up so that I am a viable and very enticing target to the fire one.
Also,
Alright.
flanking for sneak attack, yo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And giving her food.
All right. That brings us to the wolves. after Shauna. That will be a 15.
To hit me, yep. Just barely.
That's 7 points.
Oh, wait, no.
You have
I
plus
got
one
plus
AC
one.
now.
Which makes
My
it
AC's
15.
15.
What makes your AC 15?
Which makes you AC 15.
Never mind,
It
it
hit
still
you,
hits me.
exactly.
Which is 7 points of fire damage to you.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, you're unconscious.
Oh, I tried.
We have a healer. It's all good.
I tried to make myself a target. It didn't work.
I mean, she's the one who backstabs the fire elemental.
It's true.
Which, to be fair, it was literally talking shit. So, so Flame Wolf takes Shiona down. The Earth Wolf is gonna.
I mean, I shanked it.
You did, and it's gonna.
I'm by myself though now.
You're flanking the Airwolf, so it's gonna flank you with the Airwolf.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Going to
The
roll.
problem with being a shaman is they got a lot of buffs. They have to do one at a time.
That's gonna be a 16.
If only my AC got up one more. It's exactly 16.
Yeah. And it's going to deal 4 points of bludgeoning damage and attempt to trip you.
All right, roll me.
You roll a grapple check.
It's not a grapple check. It's a strength check.
Yeah. It's going to be a 18.
Thankfully, I can make a dex check to resist, so I resist it.
All right.
You said 18, right?
Yes.
Good.
18. So its teeth latch around your leg and pull, but you manage to pull yourself out of it before it manages to upend you. The water one is going
When can I do
to.
immediate actions? When can you do immediate actions?
Once per round as a whole, so
Okay.
whenever.
Good to know.
The water one, however, is going to go back for the priest.
It's basically like
Rolls another natural one,
Um,
as you're basically defending yourself by literally staving off the water wolf, and it just continues to splash around you.
I don't know what I did to appease the dice spirits, but
I would like to, in using my immediate action, cast Earth Shock at the water one.
Yes, you can do that.
It just takes damage.
Yeah. Is it a saving throw of any kind?
Nope.
Or?
It just takes it.
Yeah.
It's only a D4. It takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. That's first damage that's been marked on the water one. As it splashes around the priest who is defending himself, a spike of earth just rises up from the ground next to Garrick and launches itself at the water wolf. All right. Then that
Leave the priest alone.
Leaf, it's your turn. Wait, no, the air one didn't do anything, did it? The air one is going to take advantage of that flanking that it's got and attack Alphon.
Come at me, bro.
That is a 11, which I'm assuming misses.
No, it does not hit me.
Yep.
I've only taken 8 damage. I can take more.
Question: do those bonuses still apply to her when she wakes back up?
Yeah.
Sweet. You don't lose.
speaking of her waking back up,
That'd be awesome. She won't
Don't you
appreciate
have to
it,
touch
but
to
thank
cure
you.
wounds?
Hmm?
Did you have to touch to cure wounds?
Yes.
Yes.
You will take out an attack
You
on the water
have to
wolf.
move.
Yeah.
Unless you have the tumble skill,
I do not have the tumble skill.
then you
now.
will take an attack of opportunity.
You can roll a 1 anyway.
Yeah, sure.
No, I was about to say. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a 5, so it's an 8.
She still doesn't hit.
I like to imagine you just like just stay there.
It's just like
Sit.
with the stick, just
Sit.
like
Good
no.
And that is a slightly better roll than I got before, but that's 4 hit points.
You're at 4.
You're at 4.
It's not 0 hit points.
Not
Yay.
-1.
Are you touching her when she wakes up?
That's how the spell works.
That is indeed how the spell works.
Slap. Like, what is it, like a hand or something?
Yes.
Touching her. Slap it away.
That's not how we say thank you.
He heals with his feet.
Just put it-
Thank you. Don't touch me again.
That's better. He's going to have to heal you.
So that brings it to your turn, Shiona.
Stab the wolf. I'm flanking it for you.
I know that.
Do you stand up first?
Yeah, she gets it.
That will provoke an attack of opportunity if you do.
She gets up.
Yeah. As I drop my die.
Don't take an attack
it's a
opportunity
4.
that deals 4
Fine.
damage.
No, it's a natural 20.
See? It's what you get for being salty.
it's only a 5 to confirm, so it doesn't confirm, but
I get knocked down, and then I stay there.
Like exactly 4.
you take 3 points of fire damage.
I'm at 1! I'm at 1!
So you stand up, and the flame wolf just bites down on you. As you stand up, but you force yourself through it and stand back up.
Stab.
Well, you want to use that battle rage that you can do once a day as an orc?
I can do battle rage?
Yeah, you can do rage. I told you can do the barbarian rage.
I can do that. Yes! I would like to do that.
So you get +4 to your
Seems
strength.
appropriate
Oh,
at
nice.
the moment.
Temporary.
Temporary.
10.
Basically, you get +2 to attack and damage in addition to, and you get an extra 2 hit points.
Yep.
I think, given the situation, it would be very hard for you to not be in a rage right now.
Pretty much.
I think given the situation, rage, yes.
Although, isn't that kind of her personality at this point?
I was about to say.
And you go ahead and roll me an attack
just
roll.
roll the d20. Okay, hold on. You're flanking, so you get +2.
Okay.
You get +3 from that, so that's
And
+5.
then another
You get
+1.
+3
Because
from
of
that,
this
so
thing.
that's +8. You
Okay.
get an additional. You get your regular bonus, so that's 12, and I think that's
That's
our
it?
numbers.
Are you sitting at 12?
There's a 12 hit.
No.
I rolled a 2 on that.
I mean, you got a +10 out of that attack because you were raging. That's pretty impressive.
No, that was
but
wonderful, but and I'm going back down.
I feel like we have just an entire hovercraft of floating modifiers right now.
Oh, I forgot to add that you rolled a 2. I was only adding your modifiers. You get a
14.
+12.
Oh, well, that hits.
Yes!
I'm sorry, you get a +12.
You get sneak attack too.
So you get 2d6.
Oh, really? Awesome.
And then you add 6 instead of 2.
Okay. 6, 10.
10 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
As this, how do you want to do this?
Just uppercut it into oblivion.
I want to as it's like in mid leap, I want to just like gut its belly.
Okay, so this wolf bites down on you as you stand up, and you feel that pain, but it just makes you angrier as you stand up and you shove it off of you, and it backs away for a second and backs up as if to prepare for a leap. And as it lunges at you, you just as it running, it's leaping straight for your face, but you just kind of drop straight to your back and just raise the claw and just rake across its underside as it flies over you. And as you bring your arm forcefully down from the attack, it scatters into a cloud of ash that just disperses across the pillar.
Mocha!
Fine.
Well, with the shaman giving you a +7,
Means victory.
hit.
You're welcome.
She's not a people person.
So
Are they all dead?
no, there's
No,
only
only
one
one
of them is down.
Dang it.
Brick, you're up.
Mine's down.
We're flanking somebody now. They can do +2.
You're still
Yeah.
lots of
Oh
So
no,
go after the.
you're flanking with me. That gives you +3.
How does that work?
I have a
Okay.
feat.
in addition to your other +1, so you have +4 to your attack.
I'm gonna attack the
Shaman.
other one again.
They make everyone awesome.
Alright, go for it.
It just takes us a long time to do it.
17.
17. That hits. Roll damage.
Fortunately, I don't have, because I use Battle Shout, I don't have to use war drums, so.
How much?
3.
Yeah, you get an extra 2 on that from his
Oh.
battle shot.
Oh no, so.
Yeah.
5. Alright, so you strike what seems to be the core of these swirling winds with your fist, and it just disperses across as it scatters like the wind.
Much like the wind.
Next up is Galfon. What do you got?
Alright, there's an earth thing on me.
Yep.
I should probably shank it. You said a 14 hits, right?
Yep.
Then I hit.
Alright, what do you got for damage?
I have got 9 damage.
That's enough. As you drive the spear into the center of this wolf made of various stones, you just force and press and lever, and something pops, and it just kind of scatters into a pile of rocks on the ground.
All right, and then after doing that, I'm going to rush to put myself between the water one and the priest.
All right. I mean, that's hard to do because it's adjacent to the priest, but...
Oh no, the priest moved away.
The priest
Oh,
moved
yeah.
away.
Right, yeah.
So I'm filling that new gap.
Alright. Alright, Garrick, you're up.
As I cast Inner Fire on myself, giving myself an additional +1 divine bonus to attack and +3 bonus to my armor.
Okay.
My armor now goes up to 17. And I'm going to move over to place myself next to Galfon so that we form a massive barricade of meat between the water wolf and everyone else.
Interesting. It is now the wolf's turn, though.
And it's the only one left.
Yep. One of the water wolf is left. You know what he's made of? Made of water.
That's fine. Provoke those attacks of opportunity.
He's gonna tumble. Rolls a natural 20.
Darn.
Hey,
It was
at least
even
he
a
rolls
decent-
a
I'm the
natural
only
20
I'm the
bang.
only one that's damaged him. So
Yeah, but he had a friend.
I'm going to
The water wolf kind of stares at the two of you and just issues this growl that sounds like it's transposed through water, and then it just turns into a stream of water as it flows between the two of you as you swing at it, but it's just water, and it just flows right past you and reforms into a wolf as it's lunging at Leaf.
well, I'm gonna earth shock it anyways.
Go for it.
I imagine it's trying to sound all intimidating with the growling, but then it just
For
ends up
4.
sounding like blum 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 blum.
Four bludgeoning.
Okay. Is that 15 to hit you?
Yes, that would indeed hit.
Is that with your +1
Finally.
obviously?
Yeah.
+1? Yeah, that's definitely +1.
That is only 2 points of acid damage.
Okay.
Nice.
As you feel the water scald against your skin, but it's not terribly bad. Leaf, you're up.
So there's people to heal, but there's people who also desperately don't want to be healed. So,
I mean, you can make a touch attack against her.
I'm not interested in starting
Her
that.
touch AC is not
I am
that high.
not interested in starting that.
Especially in range.
Go ahead, do it.
I mean, who's within range that I could heal right now?
You can heal her,
Or you.
or you can move to get to someone else and take an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not interested in taking the next opportunity, and I'm really not interested in starting anything. So, theoretically, I could punch a wolf, or well,
Swing a staff at a
Poke
wolf.
it with a stick.
yes, poke it with a stick.
I mean, you're at that level.
Why not?
You may as well.
This thing's gonna be gone before it can attack next time anyway, so I have all the time in the world
Hopefully.
to heal.
Unless we all roll natural ones.
I mean,
Or
hey,
just
that's that
lo-
thing's
or
job.
just lower than 14.
That's a 14.
You hit. Roll damage.
I've already hit it twice, so maybe you'll
Considering-
kill it.
Wait, actually, technically that was a 15.
You've
Actually,
done 7 damage to it.
I don't
Two
have a
more
-1
shots.
to hit thanks to your aura.
Yeah. And you get up and just do 3 damage to it.
What?
Just do 3 damage to it.
I forget. Course stats are D6, right?
D6.
Yeah. Cool. I didn't even look at
And you
the
get
stats
to add
on my
strength
mouth.
and a half.
And by that you mean hopefully I don't subtract strength and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how does strength and a half work if you're at a -1?
It always works in your favor.
4.
4. Alright. He's still there.
The other one died at 10. I was hoping that one would too.
A regular wolf has 13 hit points. What makes you think these guys are gonna have less?
Yeah, realize that he hit one for 6 and then I hit it for 6 and it was still up.
And then next in line is Shiona. What you got?
How many are left?
Just the water wolf.
one.
Just the one. Where is it?
This
on Leaf.
It's
It's
right in
like
front of you.
5 feet away
Okay.
from you.
Stab. Am I still raging?
Yes.
Roll something.
Okay, but I get plus 12 still, right?
No, because you're not
No.
flanking. You're
Dang
not
it.
super flanking, but you still.
What do I get though?
You get
Plus 10.
Plus 10?
something like that. You get a plus a bunch.
Well,
You
flanking
hit.
only
18.
You hit. Roll damages.
You get a hovercraft's worth of floating mod hunters.
Am I rolling 2d6?
No.
It's 9.
How do you want to do this?
Splash.
I will go through the back of the neck.
So, Leaf, as you're defending yourself from this water wolf that seems to be constantly harrying you and just flowing around all of the opposition to get straight at you, as it's rushing towards you again to leap and jump at you, this set of 3 blades just emerges from the back of the wolf's head, and it just turns into a puddle. It just like splashes down to the ground into becoming a puddle of water.
That's it.
I suppose we have completed our first trial.
As you say that, the ground begins to rumble.
And I suspect here comes our second.
Be ready.
As emerging from the ground, this pile of rocks begins to stack as more and more earth begins to pile up until this gigantic man made of earth, this giant, vaguely humanoid shape that seems to be just like a giant torso and fists that trails down into a tail on the ground, towers over you.
Question.
Yes,
Would I have had time while it was coming up to cast Rockbiter weapon?
probably.
I cast
And
Rockbiter
I have
weapon.
had time to cast healing, by the way.
Yes,
I cast Rockbiter weapon on my sword.
but
Healing.
Get healed.
as
Do I have to make a touch attack?
You might.
Well,
Are you seriously going to make me make a touch attack?
But she's attacking with her hand anyway, so if she tries to parry it, you're still touching her.
And say if you just like put your hand on her shoulder, she's gonna stab it.
Does that mean a touch attack, or does that mean you're attacking?
well, no, you
No,
just,
just-
get
just do
get
a
the
poke.
other shoulder so she can't. She's only got one arm.
Sure.
Punch her in the nose.
And that's how he died.
Stop fighting the priest.
And that's 8, so hopefully that brings you back up.
but as it
Nothing evades the light.
as it
Most worshipful.
as it rears up and builds itself before you, this massive earth elemental, it leans back as if to reach forward with a giant fist to pummel one of you, and then this bolt of lightning just rockets down from the sky and crashes into it. As you look over your shoulder, Garrick, you see Razjun is on the cliff face and brings his hand down as another bolt of lightning slams into it. Back, ya mongrel! You don't belong here! And he just kind of thrusts his hand out, and the elemental kind of looks at him and then scatters into a pile of pebbles against the ground. He kind of brushes his hands off. Sorry about that. That was not part of the trial.
Just standing there with my sword that's now covered in rocks. Just looking at. Okay.
But, well done to all of you. You done well. I see you all got some kind of lesson from the spirits.
Rolls her eyes.
I just sort of look over and
You don't know what they told her?
No, I don't. I just know how you.
But we know you're not happy with it.
She's never happy.
You're not a ray of sunshine. That's what we're saying.
All right, let's make it back to camp, and I'll explain the rest to you.
There's no meat on these things. They're not actual wolves, right?
No, they're just made of elements.
That's very disappointing.
don't want to eat
unless
like
you want to
fire.
drink the water one.
How rare is water around here?
I mean, it's not incredibly common. You're a clay desert, but there is water to be found.
In that case, I actually probably would
Lap it up.
get out some skins, or and use get up as much of the water wolf as I can.
It's already soaking.
Get a drink while I can. Well, hey, you can get water out of clay.
Yeah, and you gather as much water as you can. It's basically, considering how much of it has soaked into the clay, and you don't have time to really drain it out of it. You probably get like a glass, but still.
Hey, man, you know.
A cup of water's a cup of water.
But you make your way back down the path, and you find your way back to the middle of the valley. As Razjun kind of leads you back to the tent, and you all meet back up in his tent. There's that familiar smell of incense on the inside, and he sits across from the fire to each of you. So, what have each of you learned from this experience, from your communion and the trial that followed?
Shut up. Sorry, I'm looking at John. That was not in game.
Sounded like something Shiana would say,
I'm
though.
sorry. It's also something I would say to John.
Spirits of the air commanded decisiveness.
And what does that mean to you?
I'm not certain
Fail. He's gonna be the oldest man in the next class, too.
Something to think on then.
yet. Play into your weaknesses.
Something to think on then. When you must be decisive and when you must think. When you must put your mind to something. But what about the fight, the challenge that came after? Did you learn anything from that?
How long has it been since then, real quick?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay, well.
She's asking you a question.
Oh, me too.
Did you learn anything from that?
Dear me, it's like you cheating off me or something. Don't cheat off her.
What'd you get for number two? No. It's not an answer. It's multiple choice.
It's always Shiana's answer.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could answer stab on a multiple choice test. It looks like a hole in the paper.
The answer to the question you're being asked of me. But when working together with the spirits and my comrades, we can overcome any obstacle.
Good. And there will be many obstacles in your path. To that end, I name you Garak, Cloud Speaker, as the voice of the air. The one who will speak with decisiveness when the storm comes, but for now, floats with ease and caution. And you, Shauna, what did you learn from the spirit that spoke to you, and from the battle
Give me that smile.
that ensued?
Absolutely nothing.
You speak with much defiance. Did you truly learn nothing?
Yes.
Or do you just not wish to say what you learned?
Absolutely nothing.
I think we'll see in time. But for now, you still are one of the Horde. And to that end, I name you Shona Flame Carver.
You have a last name.
Leaf, the spirit of water seemed to have an interest in you. What did you learn?
was curious. It wondered why I am joining the Horde, whether it is to help others or simply for my own sense of realization.
And did you find an answer?
I believe so.
And what did you learn from the battle that followed?
That, there are certainly many people in this world from all walks of life, and with respect and cooperation, hopefully, we can sort out our problems.
Like a rent in steel, ya put a patch on it. And so I name ya Leaf Iron Mender. Brick. You came in with perhaps the most wisdom of the lot. But what did you learn from this experience?
There's still a lot of learning to do and a long road ahead for time to learn what we need.
And so you come with more patience than you had. But what about the fight? What did that teach you?
How to flank.
That teamwork may be the key that we need to carve the path to the future. And find the answers.
And so, as the one who is perhaps the most soft-spoken, but the one who needs the least to say, I name you Brick Earth Whisper. And you, my brethren, he says, and he walks over to Galfon, and he cups your chin in both of his hands and forces you to look up in his eyes, and you get the sense of import from his words. Not a lot of people's words carry weight, but the things that he speaks to you...
I get a sense of import from the way that he carries himself.
Yeah.
More like the actions are much more relevant.
Yeah, and the expression on his face is much more relevant than the actual words that he's saying. But you get the understanding of what he's trying to get across. And he says, the name Galfon be an insult. Only your enemies will call you that from now on. And those that would use that slanderous term deserve nothing but your tusks and your spear. From this day forward, I name you the one who speaks with the earth and the wild things of nature. I name you Jangatal, Wild Walker.
I'm never gonna remember.
Can you spell that for me?
Jang
Okay.
apostrophe
Apostrophe.
ATAL.
T-A-L. Wild speaker?
Wild Walker.
Wild walker.
What comes after the apostrophe?
ATAL.
As someone who speaks Adali, what does Jangatal mean?
Devoted protector.
Okay.
What was the last name?
Wild Walker. Yes, these Andali terms, Jangatal is devoted protector. And so,
New name, name someone.
That's cool. He won't care anymore.
you might care if someone calls you Galfon now, but who knows?
I care for tones. If they're being slanderous, I can bite their face off.
Yeah.
If they're not, I can not bite their face off. Or I could anyway, depends on how hungry I am.
But after that, he looks at the group of you. And so, now it passes that you enter the Horde. Loktar Ogar.
Loktaruga.
Victory or death. For those of you who isn't the best.
Sensing that we're supposed to be saying something, he will grunt loudly and smack his hands into the ground, as seems appropriate for the situation.
Now then, now you be adults in the Horde. Now comes your first task as newly crowned members. Every man and woman who becomes an adult to the Horde must undergo a certain amount of service. Usually in the military as a guard, as a scout, as a soldier. The group of you seek out Tunk. I believe he's got your first task for you. Go on. I've done what I can for you. Spirits willing, I'll see you again.
What was his title again?
Spirit Speaker Residue.
We'll see you again, Spirit Speaker.
I trust in that.
You really need to learn how to speak with respect.
She muttered that under her.
Head up the.
I give whatever the equivalent is of bow. Would
Usually a
bow?
salute.
A salute. Okay.
Because you don't lower yourself before your companions, you give them respect.
Duck out from tent.
Crawl out, as I am wont to do.
Yeah. So you head out, and you make your way towards the center of the camp where you know that Kaltunk is usually waiting for anyone who has questions. And you see Kaltunk is in the middle of having what seems to be an argument with a newcomer to the valley. This individual is dressed in fully adorned, heavy plate armor. He's got his helmet under his left arm and a massive great axe slung across his back. And he seems to be having a aggressive conversation, shall we say, with Kaltunk. The impressive part is that the one in armor seems to be on the back foot, and Kaltunk, who is wearing no armor and has no visible weapon on him, seems to be the one leading this conversation, this argument. Kaltunk does not seem to be even remotely cowed by the presence of weapons and armor on this individual, as their conversation is getting relatively heated. You overhear Kaltunk. I don't care if the damn fool is war chief now. He's not sending new adults to the front lines to die. I choose where their assignment is. I will give them something more fitting. And you just hear the other person, fine. But know this, Kaltunk. Hellscream's eyes are upon you. He kind of turns off in a huff and walks out of the valley.
I know that name.
You do know that
I
name.
put it right in there, bro. Do I know Garrosh?
Probably not personally, no.
I do know Grom's dead.
Yeah.
So.
You have probably heard the name Garrosh Hellscream in reference to the son of Grom Hellscream. Grom Hellscream, the war hero of the Warsong clan, one of the most decorated orc warriors to ever really call the Horde his home.
I served
You know that Garrosh Hellscream was, until recently, leading the Horde offensive in Northrend to deal with the Lich King, a fight that ended some months ago, maybe a year even, about the time that you guys came to the Valley of Trials. And you know that there has been a lot of rumbling about War Chief Thrall stepping down potentially to become more of a shaman as the needs call for him to tend to the elements, and that Garrosh was one of many prospective individuals who might be considered for the next title of War Chief. You don't know if that's actually come to pass or not. You've been here for a year.
Definitely to Calvo.
Ah, I see you're back.
As a new war chief selected.
Yes, Garrosh Hellscream has been named War Chief.
I have never met him. Is he anything like his father?
A bit too much, some would say.
So I've heard.
And in all the wrong ways.
Well, what is our assignment, Count?
Ah, you heard that then. The fool warlord who just came to visit wants to send you to the front lines of the Barons to battle the Alliance. I think not, shall we say. No, you will be heading to Razor Hill, and you will be doing as the commander requires. It's roughly 2 days' ride on Wolfback, so if you intend to go, I suggest you take provisions and take 2 of our riding. Take 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Take 4 of our riding wolves, and we have 1 Kodo ready for you, Brick, as well.
Oh, good idea.
I'm a bit big for riding.
No, you're not.
That's why it's a riding wolf, not a wolf.
But for now, you should all get some rest, and you can leave in the morning.
Taller, not necessarily
Taller.
bigger.
You don't weigh near as much as Brick does.
How much does Brick weigh?
430.
I weigh more than Brick. I weigh 652.
You're still not too big for a riding wolf. His bulk is the reason he uses the Kodo.
Also general preference, I presume.
Generally, yeah.
Very well. Go to wherever the wolves are.
I mean, if he did offer you a chance to get rest and leave in the morning.
We're
Oh,
getting
yeah, that's
rest
right. Sorry.
in the
Rest
night.
first. Yes.
Yeah.
Rest first, leave in the morning.
Gianna's going back to her family right now?
I mean, your family's in Orgrimmar. That's 4 days
Never
out.
mind.
That's a 4-day respite.
I didn't realize that. That's really long, never mind.
Yeah, you have to go past Razor Hill to get to Orgrimmar.
Never mind.
Yeah.
And all of your buffs have obviously gone away by now. By the just so fighting us.
Yeah, and your rage is definitely ended.
Her rage is eternal.
Yes, the mechanical rage has ended. But yeah, you all head back in. There's basically a cave that has been hollowed out of the side of the Valley of Trials and made more comfortable for people to help you get in from the heat. They've brought in like some small torches and braziers to give light, and the cave system is a lot cooler because it's not constantly directly exposed to sunlight, and there are mats and beds and carpets to sit on, and food is being served, food and drink for those of you who are hungry or looking for something to eat or drink, and you're welcome to have any amount of conversation or interaction you would desire before you go to rest for the evening. Is anyone doing anything, or are you all just having food and resting?
I mean, I'm not much of a person for talking, but I'm probably
Great conversationalist.
cowing, eat food rapidly, go outside, just sort of. Do trolls need as much sleep as regular people do?
They do, but they have it sort of fitfully. Like, they're very active sleepers, and generally speaking, they don't have anywhere near the same problems rising as most people do.
Yeah. Like, I'm probably running, just doing this stuff, running around,
Getting
burning
exercise
off
in.
energy, yeah.
Anyone else doing anything before they go to sleep, or?
What kind of options are there for sending messages? Like, is there some kind of postal?
Yeah, you can
system?
write a letter and send it somewhere if you want.
I'll probably throw in with the smiths and do some work before.
I feel like today's events are sufficient enough to write home about.
Ting,
Alright.
ting, ting. Ching, ching,
Postage
ting,
is like
ting.
2 copper, so
Okay.
Gianna's also going to write a letter.
same thing. Postage 2 copper.
Alright.
I'll even up the edge of her sword,
Yeah.
and also help with any other blacksmithing orders that are in.
Yeah, you help out. You help out with the smithing, just like handling the occasional thing that you can help with, getting some practice in. Anyone else have anything to do before they want to sleep? Brick, anyone? You just have food, and go to sleep. All right, so you all get a full rest in. You all get all your hit points, all your mana points back, and you awaken the next day. And as you head out of the sleeping quarters and the cave system that is hollowed out of the Valley of Trials, you find that Caltunk is waiting for you with 4 wolves and a Kodo.
I go towards Calthunk and the biggest wolf.
All right. These wolves can get you to Razor Hill, and they'll probably be left there until you have need of them again. But you'll be answering to the Warlord of Razor Hill, and he will make sure that you are given proper lodgings while you are there, and give you your first tasks as new members of the Horde.
Very well. Are there any dangers between here and Razor Hill we should be made aware of?
Well, recently some Harpies were spotted taking up roost on the eastern cliffs near the shore. And keep an eye out for them. They're known to snatch up stray passers-by, shall we say.
We shall be aware then. Do any of the rest of you have questions you need of Calthok?
Caltunk, there's no
Calthunk, sorry.
Sure.
That one.
Sure.
Very well.
Like a bird.
Yeah.
Our mission seems clear.
We ride.
Right, yeah. you mount up your wolves, you mount
I'm
up
trying
your
to
Kodo.
make as many Warcraft unit references as I can.
You mount up your Kodo, you guys mount up your wolves. You head out. It's like I said, it's gonna be 2 days of travel before you make it to Razor Hill. But near the end of the first day, I'd like everyone to roll me a spot check.
So, out of curiosity, how has this whole riding an animal been introduced to me? Because that's sort of a strange thing to do.
That's probably something that you had to be taught over the course of the year.
And by taught, you mean repeatedly beaten with a stick.
Basically.
Okay. He does not
Trained
appreciate
more
this
so.
this concept. Yeah, trained is a much better word.
18.
14.
18.
15.
5.
19, but you don't.
Actually, you do count.
Okay.
Um,
That's the highest I can roll.
Hey!
Roll an extra
so
40,
those of you who rolled above a 14,
Do we see a goblin on a paraglider being chased by a dragon?
no.
Because that would be the best way to introduce our goblin.
What the group of you do see, as you pull up to one of the road signs that denotes the break in the road where you can either head towards Razor Hill or towards Senjin Village, which is one
Please
of
tell
the
me it's a goblin hitchhiking.
which is one of the roads to the one of the troll villages on the coast.
Wolf mistakes it for a meal and starts chasing it down.
You spot a pile of what looks like scrap metal and spare parts that was laying on the ground, and it looks like there's been a bit of a scuffle. Very, very recently, in fact. As a matter of fact, what's your character's name? Josh? You are currently being carried off by a flight of 4 Harpies, and you look down from where you had just been snatched away from your stuff, and you see a group of orcs, a troll, and a tauren standing around your stuff that you just got snatched away from.
Yo, can you get that for me and bring it along?
You all look up as you hear a goblin shouting at you, and you see a goblin being carried off by a group of 4 Harpies.
Did the goblin make indication that we're supposed to... No, the goblin said carry his stuff.
I'll grab his stuff and
I need
charge
one of those
after him.
harpies to make a reflex save.
What are you casting?
Lightning strike lesser. So I just reach out, grab some stray electricity, and throw it.
Alright, reflex save on behalf of a harpy. Okay, what's...
While it's carrying a goblin, for whatever that matters.
what's,
Goblins aren't heavy, unfortunately.
what's the save DC?
It is a first level spell. 10 plus 1 plus 3 is 14.
Yes.
Okay, let me find... Harpy.
Have a good meal.
Hey, you can only do this. You can't do this.
Oh, right. Sorry. That's right. Have a good meal.
We should like tape your left arm behind you.
Yes.
They make the saving throw.
They take half damage.
Okay.
They take 1 point of damage.
You say they, it's only one.
Sorry, it takes 1 point of damage.
She takes one point of damage.
She takes 1 point of damage.
It's a harpy.
The objective here is to either draw to me or make drop goblin.
Neither of which quite happen as the bolt of lightning strikes down, and one of the 4 harpies, I should repeat, who are taking off, just kind of squawks angrily.
Oh, we're on that plan now?
The objective also was to get Jengathal to throw javelins in response.
I was gonna say I would like to hug a pointy stick.
They're about 80 feet up, so
I would like to hug a pointy stick with some massive penalties.
you can certainly try.
There's always a 20 on this die.
It is. But how do we normally end? Sorry, I'm not usually the one looking at it.
9 to 9:30, depending on where it
So yeah,
goes.
Good to know.
All right. Does a 15 hit?
Actually it does.
Ha
Get him! Knock him out of the sky!
Ooh, max damage too. 8.
8. Ow! That was almost all of her hit points.
Does it make her drop the goblin?
I mean, there's 4 of them carrying him, so even if she does...
Yeah, no. Does it draw her attention?
Oh, yes.
Then the goblin falls to his death.
I can fix that. As long as it's not
so-
like dead.
And so,
Yeah,
as,
that's 8d6 falling damage, unless you make a tumble check to take 7d6.
does it seem like they're going to turn towards us?
I can fly.
Does it seem like we've gotten their attention?
Plummet gracefully.
And then he pulls off his socks and then reveals that his socks are indeed parachutes. Which I really wouldn't be surprised, knowing you
and then
and
you
knowing your
realize
character.
that Elrin accidentally plane shifted through here. Not realizing what those were.
Whoops, wrong universe.
Best socks to pickpocket though. Normally
No,
they're
Ellen's
socks, these are
assignment,
parachutes.
So they're all the right universe.
Yeah, one of them, the one that got hit with a spear,
Same one they got hit with lightning.
Now, just to clarify, did the spear come back down, or did it lodge itself pretty heftily?
oh,
into
no,
it?
it's lodged.
Hold my pointy stick back.
We'll
Actually,
get it back, we'll get it back.
I mean, hey, that'll make it harder to fly. It's got more weight.
Loktar warriors!
putting a lot of H's in things that don't have H's.
Loktar, sorry. Loktar warriors.
So you play
I have
with
a tendency to
yourself?
put H's in things.
The one that got hit with a spear turns with the spear in her side and looks down at the group of you.
Time to go harpy hunting.
And just kind of turns to the other 3 and squawks something in the harpy tongue, which none of you speak. And just turns and flies down low enough to throw your javelin back at you.
Earth shock.
What's the range on that?
110 feet.
Alright.
So they're turning
3
her back,
damage.
Or is she?
No, just the one.
Oh, she just let go. So
3 bludgeoning damage to her.
And she drops after she throws the javelin. That's a 19 on the die.
Thankfully, javelins do not have that good of a crit range.
No, they don't. But that will still hit you, which will deal 4 points of piercing damage.
And then she just drops.
And then as she throws the javelin, a spike of earth rams into her other shoulder, and she just plummets like a limp bird. Just,
I'm more appreciative of having my javelin back than I am bothered about the 4 damage.
And the other 3 continue to fly off, making another 80 feet distance in the round with the goblin in tow.
So, now, is it 80 feet forward?
Forward and slightly angled upward, because they're heading. As you look off in the distance, you
Okay.
can see there's like a cliff face.
So
that
they're, what,
that
about
they're heading.
100 feet up?
Yeah, they're
And
probably
then
about 100 feet or so.
60 feet out. If we get Pythagorean involved in this, and then I move, I've got within. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna huck another stick.
I'm just gonna, as he's throwing, I'm just gonna indicate towards the Harpies with my sword. Let's ride.
All right, we're on Mount
We're on
Move
mounts.
faster. Yeah.
What are you up to while you're being carried away?
Well, he's certainly up to something.
I'm certainly up to something.
About 100 feet.
When she gets a stick in her
Yeah.
side, I say, well, look, that looks good in you. When she leaves, I'm going to try to do a grapple change. Because one of them must go. I'm going to try to see if I can maneuver to ungrapple. But
You want to just? You're
I'm
trying.
going to try to get away.
Are you
but
trying-
I'm not going to be able to.
Are you trying to drop escape?
I'm just trying to.
I mean, we could theoretically.
Escape artist check?
Escape artist check. Yeah, should I try that? But,
My question is, are you trying to get out of this
I'm just
grapple,
trying to get
or are
out
you
of the-
trying to make it your grapple?
Temporarily, I'm trying to get out of the grapple, but I'm gonna worry about other things later.
Okay.
So
That's
you
a
make
very
an escape
goblin way
artist
of
check,
looking
at it.
and against their grapple check, and they get a +4 because they get an additional +2
Right,
for each
well,
one
I
of
get-
them.
But see, I rolled a 5 and I get like -4 anyway, so I knew it was gonna happen that way.
Well, you can roll an escape artist skill instead of your grapple
Cool.
check.
Instead of that,
Yeah,
That wouldn't
that's
be-
plus your agility.
where's my?
Well, it's yeah.
that
Escape,
would
you
give me a
ranks
7.
an escape
Yeah, that would
artist.
give me a 7 for escape artist. That wouldn't work out very well either.
I mean, they rolled 20 on their grapple check. So.
I figured that would happen, but I wanted to let them know that I was still alive.
You're still trying.
Oh, sorry, 18. But yeah, the other 3, as you wiggle and try and struggle your way out of this grapple, the other 3 just kind of look down at you and squawk angrily at you.
Oh, and I did battle cry, so you get plus 2 more damage.
Sweet. My turn.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Holly, would you like to tell him what I just rolled to hit?
So he rolled a 20, and then he confirmed that hit with a 17, which is
That-
also very high.
That confirms. Yes.
All right. You know what spears do?
You get a plus 2 morale bonus to that damage too.
Pale things?
24 damage.
A second harpy dies.
A second harpy.
So
Did
it's
the-
like, no
die.
matter what you do,
Did-
it just breaks your name.
Did the harpy stop the spear from moving?
Yes, the harpy falls with the spear in its chest.
Okay.
You can grab it as you
Somewhere,
ride past.
somewhere, for some reason, and he doesn't know why, a centaur sheds a single tear.
I mean, you're probably just gonna end up falling to your death
Yeah,
if they keep
probably
doing
anyway.
that.
We'll catch him,
Yeah, right.
or revive him.
I can fix kinda dead.
Remember what the instant
can't
death
fix
rule
very
was for
dead.
falling for taking damage in 5th edition?
Yeah.
If you take damage equal to your maximum hit points in excess,
Yes.
I feel like 10d6 is enough to kill a first level tinker.
You think?
We'll find out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think 10d6 is enough to not kill.
Somebody pointed at something and told me to kill it. I mean, I'm doing my thing.
Kill
and
first
We're
and
just,
ask
I
questions.
will.
we're just
I-
lucky he didn't try to kill the goblin.
I will, as we're riding, I will call out, save your spears, Jengathal. We will get them in their nest.
I swear you're saying Jenga tall.
That's what I wrote down. Jang Atal.
I'm hearing Jenga. Like,
Jenga,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what-
I'm just imagining
Jang
Jenga, but it's really tall.
Jang
Jenga?
Atal is what you
Jenga
spelled
tall?
out.
It's like one of those Jenga towers, but it's really, really tall.
Yeah, Jang Atal.
yeah,
Jang.
it's
I apologize for my southern.
Jang.
Jenga.
Jang Atal.
Jangatal.
I mean, eventually they'll get out of my range to even attempt to hit.
I mean, yes, which is this turn as they double move with him in their grasp.
So what height are they at now?
I mean, they move 80 feet around at their base speed. So with a double move, it's 160 with him in their grasp, and they're gaining height and distance.
They can
So.
only gain so much height, though. I might get one more shot at maximum rage penalty.
I mean, they
That'd be
basically
240. That'd be 240 feet.
Well,
Yeah,
what's their speed?
they 80.
So,
It'd be
because they can
240
only
feet
rise
'cause
at a
you're
45-degree angle, so they can gain another 40 feet, making them 140 feet in the air.
Yeah, and they
Plus
and they
120,
put 120 and they
200.
put 120 feet distance out.
And how fast do the wolves go? Is it 50 feet? Or is it 40?
Wolves.
60 feet.
They're dire.
60 feet.
Dire wolves do have a movement speed of 50 feet.
Oh, 50?
50 feet, so hit the whole nose. 100 feet. Get some Pythagorean involved in here again. I can hurl one last javelin at a minus 10
As
penalty.
the illiterate mute troll does algebra.
I did. I did ask you to save your spears. I don't know if you cared, but that did
You're not
happen.
sure if he doesn't care or if he didn't understand what you said, but it's one of the two.
Probably didn't understand.
I mean, I don't know what their AC is, but I probably have to roll either a 19 or a 20. That's a 3.
No.
Alright.
Your spear goes and doesn't even quite reach their height before it starts falling again.
Well done. Yeah, I'll pick it up. Don't worry about it.
You're following the Harpies.
And they are now officially out of your range.
Got 2 of them, that's fine. That's 2 less we have to kill later.
That was way more than I was actually expecting to get. I had a minus 6 on that. Hit that other one. I just rolled a 20 and a 17.
But yeah, so I'm assuming you keep after them though. So,
Yes.
Most of us are, at least.
I mean, she figures they're just having dinner. Like, I don't see what's wrong
that's
here.
not what Harpies do when they capture males.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what I was going to say when I got there. I said,
Was she-
well, now that you're missing 2, I mean, you're going to have to at least keep me around for, instead of eating me.
Would she know that?
Probably. That's
Okay.
one of the, Harpies are one of the basic dangers of Duratar, so you probably know that's part of why Harpies kidnap men.
Okay. In that case, yeah, she's going to.
Because that's the only way they reproduce, because they're an all-female race. But
Interesting that they don't care about genetics, but
no, they really don't. They just have more Harpies.
Well, it's like some birds will clone themselves. They just don't need men to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't find a man. That's fine. I'll make a baby by myself.
will it into existence.
Basically.
They're strong, independent birds who don't need no men. Literally, don't need no men.
Yeah. So, you continue riding. It's going to be well into the night by the time you reach the cliff face that the Harpies seem to have set up.
Long enough to regain 2 mana points.
You're not meditating during that ride.
Ooh, but long enough for me to regain my hit points.
Yeah.
Because after an hour, I gain 4 hit points back.
Yeah.
I am troll. Here be troll.
Control here be regenerate.
So that's next level.
Sorry, that's when it's 2 around.
But yeah, you continue on into the night chasing after this goblin. You're getting carried real high up, by the way, because
Yeah, I'm not struggling. I'm just going to hang out at this point.
and it's just
Death by snooze.
it's just 2 of them carrying you, one with your legs, one with your arms.
Okay.
And after several hours, they basically
With the body is spongy and bruised.
they basically drop you into what appears to be a massive nest that appears to have been built on the side of this cliff on one of the outcroppings, and they immediately get to work on securing their environment before they deal with you, which basically means that they are making sure that everything is safe and there are no wild animals in their nest as they bandage any wounds that they might have sustained from capturing you.
Yeah. Which wouldn't have been very much, probably.
Not probably, but
They don't have to worry about bandaging the wounds of the other 2, because they're not there anymore.
they're dead.
No, I don't think bandages would, yeah, the bandages don't fix that.
They don't happen to have any goblin jumper tables, do they?
I don't either.
as you are trying to, you have been left on the nest for right now. Is there anything you're going to try and do while you're sitting there?
Just up at the Facebook cliff. I mean,
You're on the side
on
of the
Facebook cliff.
Yeah, basically.
How high up is this approximately?
If you look down, it's a long way.
I don't have that much. Well, most of my stuff is back there anyway. Like back, some of my stuff.
You have your Goblin Army knife.
Yeah, I know.
But that's about
like
it.
25 feet of
Yeah.
cord. And I don't really have. I'm not gonna be able to break out too much here. So I'm still wearing the armor, I suppose.
Yeah, you still have your armor, and you still have one of your weapons if you have.
Well, the only thing I have is a crossbow.
Yeah, so you still have your
is the,
crossbow.
So I'll just wait for them to come back and take a pot shot.
When they try and swing back around.
Yeah.
All right.
Prepare.
So the rest of you arrive around this time is when you guys arrive at the base of the cliff face, and it's dark now. But I believe most of you have dark vision, or at least low light vision.
Always. Yeah.
I think
I
except the Tara.
I don't think half orcs do.
Yeah.
All the half races get the vision, get the better vision.
Oh, they're cool.
Because no orcs have low light vision.
Yeah.
So do trolls.
All right,
The
so
only
yeah,
one I'm not sure about is the Tara.
No, but there's a pattern I can use, but
Do you have the pattern?
No, yeah. Taran have suck vision.
so it's dark for you. It's like almost black.
I
It's the
imagine
middle of the night.
I imagine having spent some amount of time with Tara, I imagine I know that they have poor night vision.
Yes, their night vision is not great.
I will. I'm not sneaking anywhere because I can't. So I will reach down and grab. I will reach down and grab a piece of a branch or something. There's any sort of like loose wood or anything.
There's a little bit, yeah.
Cast light on it and hand it to Bradley.
I think it. Thank you.
You have a light stick. It is basically a torch, but without the fire.
Just like a torch and a flashlight.
Kind of.
So it's a torch.
That's actually a little bit better than a torch. Slightly.
Vaguely.
Well, torches don't produce one light.
Anyway, so you've got a light emitting stick. Here, this will be useful for you.
So where's their nest?
If you look up,
What's up?
it's way up the side of this cliff.
But how far up from the nest is the top of the cliff?
The top of the cliff is another like probably 60 to 80 feet from the nest.
That would be closer, but my climb rate is not all that great either.
What sort of handholds are on this cliff?
It's craggy and rocky. You can definitely find some handholds, but there's definitely not like an obvious beaten climbing path up this cliff face.
They don't need to
natural
climb.
climb.
Looking at things, see if I can.
I mean, I'm not the best climber in the world, but I'll give it a shot.
I can climb.
Go ahead and roll me a climb check.
13.
Hey, you start climbing, yeah.
Question. You said we had a backpack full of stuff that we would normally use. Can we assume to have grappling hooks and rope? Because I would have.
Grappling hooks are a little.
I would have bought that if I had the ability to.
Probably not grappling hooks, but you definitely have a rope.
What?
Did you look in my pack?
I carried all your stuff.
But you got it. If you take a look in there, I mean, there is 50 feet of rope of the hemp rope, and then there's 3 those pitons.
Heights.
What are they called? Yeah, climbing.
Pitons.
There's a million different pronunciations
Yeah.
for that word.
There's only 4 of them.
But is there a grappling hook?
But is there a way to pound them? Do you guys have a hammer to pound them?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I've got blacksmithing tools. I definitely have a hammer to pound things into the
I've
wall.
got tinkering tools and stuff, so.
I have a 20 climb check.
So you just like dig your claws of attack into the wall and start one
Yep.
hand.
So the troll and the reckless orc just started going.
Shauna,
Makes sense.
I called from below.
She looks down at you.
Could you take a rope with you?
Put it in your teeth.
How am I supposed to catch that?
With your foot.
Fine, throw it.
I'll throw the rope. I will make a knot. I'll make a loop so that it's easier to catch and try to throw it up to him.
Alright, you roll me a strength check, and you roll me a reflex saving throw.
Okay.
18.
It's only 50 feet, so it's only going to go about a third of the way up the whole thing.
21.
Well, we've all got rope.
Oh, okay, so I get it.
Yeah, you managed to. He managed to throw it high enough that you managed to catch it in your teeth, which gives you enough movement that you can like find a crevice that you can lean yourself into for just long enough to take your arm off the wall to get your hand around the rope and then put the claw back in the wall and start climbing again.
Okay.
Which is really close because you got to put the claw like right next to your face to lean your fist into the loop.
It's cool. I feel like when she first got those claws, there were a few mistakes, you know.
That's where some of the scar on the face is at.
Scratch,
Yeah.
you know.
Like, fuck. When you get up there, tie it off. It will join you.
Tying knots in one hand is not easy.
The troll is also going up. That's who I was telling it to the two of you. To the two
This
of you.
thing.
Alright, we're climbing.
That's your husband, Holly.
Yes,
Not
I
right
know,
now.
and I love you very much.
Right now he's a troll.
Yeah, but currently he's a troll.
Right now I'm more the party pet.
Yeah, he's like the dog that I didn't want.
Jenga tall. Wild.
I love you
But you
so
probably deserve it.
much.
I don't know that you've ever met a dog who didn't want.
I'm like you with Pixie right now.
Oh, that's real specific.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the two of you continue climbing, and you do find a couple of different outcroppings along the way that you can potentially stop and rest at, or like tie a rope to let people climb up if you need to.
She's gonna try to tie a knot in this thing.
Okay.
Use rope. Use rope as a skill.
Yeah, you can roll me a use rope roll.
The DC is probably a little bit higher for you.
Okay, yeah, 9.
You've got a bracer on your hand that has 3 claws on it, and you're
Yeah.
trying to tie a rope,
Rip.
and well, it's like you're trying to tie a rope, and your claws are hitting the ground beneath you, and you're like having your hands stop in the middle of a motion, and it's like you've got one hand to work with here, and it's just click.
I can't tie it!
Jenga tall, can you please assist with the rope tying?
Jenga tall.
Jenga tall.
I'm just
He
hearing
didn't quite
Jenga.
understood. Again, he might not have understood what you meant. He might not have cared. You're not sure. He's still going.
Where is he in relation to Shiana right now?
Probably not within arm's reach. I mean, I doubt that you're climbing that close to each other.
We just call him Jang.
Yeah,
Jang.
where are you? Jangy thing, come here!
He understood that. He
Okay.
looks over at you.
She holds up rope. You, I don't have 2 hands. Tie, she tries to do her tying motion with the rope.
Dude. That's a natural one to use rope.
What is rope?
Yeah, like, I hold it, I look at it, I put it on the ground.
These are like the 2 worst people to have doing this right now.
It's like, I'm just down there on the ground between the two of you, just...
I put it on the cropping. And then I look at you, and then I start climbing back up.
Thank you. We can't do it.
I will start climbing so that I can tie it off for
Roll me a climb check.
18.
Yeah, you start to climb your way. Hand over hand.
Get there, tie it off.
Roll me a use rope roll.
If you want something done, do it yourself.
12.
That's enough. Would have been
Tie a knot.
tie a knot that can hold on very easy outcroppings.
It's not a sailor's knot.
I
but
tug
it's
it to
a
make
knot.
sure. I tug on it to make sure.
It'll hold.
make sure it's upside down, and then sort of like jangle it so that the two of you know you can start using it to climb.
I climb it.
You guys, you don't have to make a climbing check. You're just moving slowly as you climb your way up the rope, and you make your way up to the outcropping that they had tied off. You're still about 40 feet down from the nest itself, but you don't see the harpies back yet.
I've been climbing while they were doing that.
Yeah, you probably made it up to the nest.
I probably tossed him the rope and continued climbing, so.
Alright, so yeah, the two of us crossed over the nest. There's a goblin thing in it.
There's a goblin in the middle of the nest.
Anything else? Bones?
Yes, bones.
Any meat?
No,
Darn.
it's been picked clean.
I look at the goblin.
Worst blind date ever.
You've got a comedian and a guy who doesn't speak English. This is great.
I won't tie off more rope as I go up, and I start climbing again.
How heavy does this goblin look?
48 pounds.
40 pounds.
Humph!
We're going down?
Okay.
Okay.
As you start climbing, you hear a screeching noise as a pair of harpies start to come around the side of the cliff face.
Set goblin down, pull out stabby stick.
I rolled a 20. I rolled a 20 to climb for.
And you're starting to climb. As a pair of harpies come towards you,
Wait till they get real close and shoot.
I'd like to set my spear against a charge.
you can do that. You can take a shot though.
Okay. I'm going to take a shot. 11?
Nope, not quite.
No.
You fire, but it's dark, and so you
Yeah,
shoot wide, and it just goes long past. But you set your spear against the charge, which I believe means you get to make an attack of opportunity when they come into your range.
Yeah, it's a ready to action, and if I hit, I deal double damage.
Okay.
If you hit.
If I hit 14,
Nope, not quite. As you thrust your spear out as one of these harpies charge, but they can fly, so they have a lot of like three-dimensional control of their movement, and they just kind of flutter over your spear and come at you with one of their own.
They got 3D motion gear.
Okay. Meow. I mean, that first one only rolls a 6 to hit you, so.
yeah, that misses.
But the second one rolls a 16 to hit you.
That hits.
Alright, so that will deal 5 points of piercing damage.
You're not the count.
No, I'm not. I can't even count. I can't count to 1.
He might have a general idea of what numbers might be.
No.
I
Maybe
mean,
in
you
respect of-
understand how to. This is a group of things. You just don't have numbers for
Yeah,
them.
no, I don't have an abstract representation of them.
You know, this many. You can see like this many things, but you don't know what that number is.
Yeah. I don't represent things abstractly. Language is hard enough.
There are as many things as I have fingers.
I mean, I don't talk, so it really doesn't matter. I don't need to tell people things.
Sure.
But Shiona, you're
Come back and
also
detonate.
up there, so you can do something while you're climbing. You'll get there next round, and you guys are down. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Are they within reach?
They just attacked me,
Yeah,
so.
they just attacked Galthon, or
Alright,
no, Jagatal.
then stabby stab.
Dragon tall.
Stabby stab?
Stabby stab. I don't think that hits.
I'm assuming they're slightly above us, so we can't get a flank on them.
Not quite, yeah.
That's an 8.
No.
Yeah.
And can I make my attacks with this round?
Yes.
Ooh.
This is less an initiative and more a frantic
Yeah.
flailing.
20
Yes, that hits.
and 4 damage.
Better than nothing. Alright. One of them squawks angrily at you as you jab at it, because none of you speak low common, so you can't tell what they're saying. And it just kind of squawks angrily at you. And that brings it back to their turn, and then next turn you'll actually get to do something because you'll reach the climbing point. It's going to be well, it's a 19 on the die.
Yeah, that hits me.
That's 1 point of piercing damage. The other one. That's a 7. Misses you.
I'm
So
a
now,
tank.
the 3 of you can do things.
Doing my
I
tank thing.
tie the rope off and drop it down.
Alright. The 2 of you can begin to climb. Cool.
You can come up now. Also, there are Harpies.
I'm assuming an 8 is definitely a miss.
Yes. 8 is indeed a miss. Shiona?
Are you attacking Sean?
Oh, yes.
There are Harpies currently, not metaphorically.
14 is also
Oh,
right.
thank you.
Yes.
Clearly.
Your dialect's poor today.
It really does. That doesn't hit.
No, it doesn't. You guys are having trouble hitting these harpies. You just
Ah.
demolished those 4 wolves.
Why do you hate me?
And 2 of the harpies earlier.
I mean,
I haven't.
the numbers are lower, so there's higher variance.
I haven't begun casting my buffs yet.
So, Austin, I just threw it down in anger.
Yeah, it's a 20.
Yeah.
It's a spike.
It's mocking me right now.
It's like that fire spirit.
Harpy 1 goes for Jangatal with the javelin. That is a 15.
That is exactly my AC.
That's 6 points of piercing damage.
Alright, so I've taken 12 so far.
Second one goes after you again. That is a 21.
21 hits.
That is 4 points of piercing damage.
Alright.
Down.
That's 16. I am actually down.
The troll goes unconscious.
Better make my next shot count then.
I reach out to grab if I can do anything. I'm reaching out to try to grab one of the Harpies.
Okay. You're trying to grapple or are you trying to cast a spell?
I'm trying to just grapple.
Yeah, go ahead.
I rolled a 19.
Roll me a touch die. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll me a grapple check.
13. Oh, sorry, 12.
They have a 19 on their grapple check. They
Grab,
only have a +2 grapple. They roll a 17.
touch, but I can't grab.
Yep.
If I can't, so.
Yeah, you can't get a grip on them.
All right, and then you get action earth shock. One damage. One bludgeoning damage.
You chuck that pebble.
Hey, 1 damage. Oh, enough times. You only have to hit somebody for 1 damage 20 times to kill them with magic.
Yes, counting to 20 in magic is a thing. It's the worst way to kill somebody.
Or the best way to kill somebody.
Jangatal, make me a death saving throw. You two start climbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. You good?
Yep.
Harpies are gonna go after Shiona.
That's okay. At least all they're gonna do to me is kill me.
I am the only one that's damage so far.
I don't have to worry about anything
Yeah,
else.
well, one of them's going after Shiona, one of them's going after you.
Okay.
So it's 20, which is going to be 2 piercing damage to you. The other one's going to go after Garrick, which is 8.
That's a miss.
Not this round, but next round. What are you guys doing on this round?
I reach a hand out and slam behind me, hitting a spiritual drum that just sort of fades out of translucency as I cast War Drums.
Okay.
All allies within 30 feet of me. All allies within 50 feet of me get a +2 morale bonus to damage for the next minute.
As you hear the sound of war drums begins to play in the background.
So,
Uh,
rage that.
I'm gonna rage and stab.
Okay. You fly into a rage. This rogue rages a lot.
She's in a constant rage. I rolled. I got a 20.
That hits.
22 with my
Roll
rage.
damage.
And get a +2,
Okay.
another +2 for my morale.
D6 plus 6.
I don't know why I'm rolling a d20
18 to hit.
damage.
The one that she's playing with.
So
That
he
hits
gets
full damage.
alive.
11.
And you get
It's dead. Actually, you hit the other one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You get another +2 to your damage as well.
8 points of damage.
That was the one that got her shot. They're both dead.
Oh, good. Okay.
How do you want to do this?
By accident, probably. I was like, wait, I can't help it. Fail.
So you reach out and aim with the crossbow at the one that got hit with the shard of earth, and you fumble with your crossbow and you lunge forward to try and grab it, and you fall flat on your face, but you hit the trigger, and it's aimed up just high enough that it catches the harpy in the back of the neck, and as she's bringing up her spear to jab again at the orc, she just goes, yeah! And it just tumbles off the edge of the cliff.
That's pretty much what I was doing. After
I like how I've put myself in like melee combat as an intimidating presence twice this session and have taken no damage.
They tried to hit you. They still hit you.
I've been putting myself in melee combat a lot and have taken
Enough
like
to get knocked out.
40 points of damage
Yeah.
over the 2 fights.
I would like to do a heal check on him while we're waiting for the priest to get up here.
Yeah, roll me another
I
death saving
I
throw.
made all 3 death saving throws.
Okay. So you get up in the next round and you can heal if you so desire.
Can you restore hit points with a heal check?
No. Not unless you have
You
like.
can just stabilize with a heal check.
How much damage did the 2 of you take? You're 1 now.
I'm only down 2.
Okay.
He's unconscious.
I'm unconscious.
I'd go for him.
I'm at
Please
0.
Go for Shiana.
Yeah.
Wait,
Um,
can you be at 0?
He regenerates by the hour at first.
We're on a
yeah.
go. She will throw you off.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
know.
figure out how this whole the new
Yeah,
death
we need to-
system
we need to-
fast healing works
we need to get
because
down.
otherwise I will literally always be
As
up.
long as you're conscious, you regenerate.
Yeah, you're conscious, yeah.
When you're unconscious, you stop regenerating. Are there any other harpies presenting themselves to be
There
beaten
does
down?
not appear to be. This seems to be a relatively small mess. There only seem to be the 4.
I am going to pull a torch out of my bag and
points.
light it and start setting the nest alight.
Alright, so you heard me like
You gonna wait for everyone to get off yet?
No, I'm not waiting for everybody to start getting down, but like
Okay.
that's my plan. Also, while I'm doing that, see if there's anything valuable.
Go ahead and roll me a searching check.
Yeah.
13.
13. All right.
16.
16.
Level 1.
The 2 of you find amongst the bones, you find some tattered remnants of clothing that looked like it might have belonged to a human at some point. Maybe a human, maybe an orc. It's hard to say at this point after all that decomposition. The skeletal structure is smaller than you expect most orcs to be, but the jaw has been so far broken you can't tell if it had tusks or not. But you find a grand total of 15 copper pieces, and also a dagger that hasn't been completely destroyed.
I'll take the dagger for the very least. It'll be if it's not magical, it'll
Just a dagger.
yeah, it'll. I mean, I do detect magic ritual, but I don't think it'll be. It's metal for my blacksmith.
upon being brought back, I'm gonna look around and I'm going to start eating one of the harpies.
Jagatol just immediately gets up, straightens out, orientates
Looks around,
themselves.
no threat. No threat. No
Okay,
threat.
dead harpy. Ha!
Tastes like chicken.
And to be polite, because he understands how it works, he will rip off chunks of meat and offer them to other people.
Completely raw.
I'm just standing here with a lit torch. I will take the offering and put it in my bag.
I don't normally eat raw, do I?
I can
Yes,
cook.
I have.
I have cookies.
Usually
I make
not.
stuff.
Growing up.
Also,
where I
most people
grew up,
don't
was
eat
just-
sentient beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they are technically humanoids.
So Shiona looks at the goblin.
Also,
and
they don't.
just-
They look like that. So you know.
So she looks at the goblin, just dryly says, "Let me guess, you had a great personality."
It was this troll sitting there on a blind date. I'll never listen to a troll again.
Like she's straight faced. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up, but she's straight faced through all this.
Welcome,
Greetings, greetings.
Let's
So,
get down from here.
How about you describe yourself?
Oh, just your standard 3'5" goblin, green skin, of course, yellow eyes, short black hair, just leather armor, has a silly crossbow and doesn't know what to do with. Can't hit a thing with it. And all the stuff in the pack, just miscellaneous junk here and there.
You look like a wandering junk merchant.
Pretty much, yeah.
Would you like assistance getting to Razor Hill? It's the nearest cell.
I've got no place else to go. I can go that direction.
Let's get you out of here then.
Also, I believe you dropped this. I hand you your
Yes,
stuff
my
back.
stuff. My stuff. Thank you. This is
If you don't mind, I'm going to light this nest on fire. I think we should all climb down.
Thank you very much. I extend a hand.
Oh no.
You fall for it.
Okay, there's this little vibration in the hand because there's a little metal thing in my hand that has a little
The joy
it's a
buzzer.
little joy buzzer thing. Yes.
You get joy buzzard.
Oh, sorry. Show up the joy buzzer and take it off and put it in my pack.
Doesn't really know how to react.
I got.
There's only really two of us that have hands small enough that would work on anyways. So I'm standing there holding a torch waiting for you guys to start climbing down.
Doing that to the troll might not have been the best of ideas.
His hands
He
are
was
too
gonna
big.
be the one who's gonna.
That could work,
anyway.
Hey, doing it.
Doing it to Shiana would have not been the best
Sean and
idea.
Leaf are the only two that have hands small enough for the ability.
Because we're on a
I would
cliff.
have been falling off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been fast enough that it wouldn't have been painful. No, not that
Slice.
Let's
You've
see
got a
if you
joy
can
buzzer.
fly.
She has Wolverine claws.
Yes. It
She
wouldn't
was
work
just
on the
throwing it
claws
off.
because it wouldn't work. I saw that. Okay, I'll climb down. Thank you. I'm climbing. Thank you very much. I'm going down the road. Hey, this is my rope, isn't it?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Some of it is, not all of it.
Yeah, well, some of it, yeah.
Shiana's gonna like poke the troll.
Troll looks up.
Points down. Climbing motion.
I mean, not waste the meat. I'm gonna hurl the harpy body over the edge so I can finish what
Let's
I found.
finish it later.
You just roll it over to the edge of the nest and just push, and it just goes crunch.
Out of concern for Jangatal's diet, I will kick the other harpy off as well.
The other harpy already fell off.
Yeah, that probably fell off when it got killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go down.
That's what it wants to eat.
All right.
Once everyone's down,
I mean,
torch.
all members of the Horde, you'd be used to the idea of trolls?
Yes.
Being
Trolls.
cannibals?
There are two races in the Horde that eat other sentient beings: trolls and undead.
And not all of them do.
And not all of either of them do.
Very few Forsaken do, actually, if I recall.
Yeah, it's a specific feat, and it's usually considered to be a necessity if they ever do it. It's like, I need to not die right now, so I'm going to eat this humanoid.
It puts
It
it
is a regeneration.
ghoulish side.
Trolls just...
Some just do it as part of their old culture. They're distancing themselves from that, but it still exists.
yeah.
It doesn't bother
I am thoroughly off put.
me. So long as you're off foot, not on this nest, as it starts to catch fire.
Oh, trust me, I would have been one of them.
You put the torch to it, and it starts to burn because it's dry kindling.
Yeah.
It's twigs and
Well,
stuff.
toss the rope down and start climbing down.
You make your way back down from the cliff face and back to the sign, which denotes the travel between Razor Hill and denotes the fork in the road between the road from the Valley Trials to either Razor Hill or Senjin Village.
It's about night.
And it's the middle of the night now, yeah. So you might want to camp on the side of the road, perhaps.
On the way down from the cliff, I by the way, I reached in and grabbed that piece of harpy and just threw it as far as I could on the way down. Shall we make camp?
I can pitch a little tent.
Yeah. You all have
It's
tents.
big enough for me.
You're all supplied with tents
Yep,
and
still
about a week's
fire.
worth of rations.
I
Well,
have food in front of me. What are you
I,
talking about?
I roll a natural 20 on my trade cooking check, which makes it a 25 to make dinner.
Yeah. You sit down. You start a campfire. You set some meat out above the spit, and you start actually cooking.
Not harpy meat, no.
Yeah, no, I would pass on that.
No, this is considering where we're at,
It's probably
most
boar meat.
boar meat and
I
scorpion
mean,
meat.
if I was going to eat a harpy, I wouldn't have been rescued.
Like,
Never mind.
I mean, one does follow the other, but
And with that line, that is where we will end for the night.
say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Finish your
Just
music.
at best.
Goodbye.